Domo, welcome everybody. Today we are playing Amelie. It's the game made by the same people that bleh. It's by the same people that made A Date with Death. Brilliant introduction, I know. 10 out of 10. Only the best here. Only the most professional of introductions here. But yes, Domo Arditto, Domo Tired Salary Man, thank you for the follow. Domo, welcome. Just in Time Cosmic, thanks for the bits. Watashi ga kita! But yeah, it's a spooky Yuri game. It was like $1.50 in the Steam sales. I was like, yeah, we haven't done some lesbians in a while. Why not? So yeah, we'll take a look at it and see how it goes. Yes, thank you. Like my VTuber mama did a very good job. All right, so we've got 3 girls, as you can see. Looks like the only one we got starting now is, you know, the title character, Amelie. So that's where we gotta start. Yeah, cute lesbian games. You know, totally nothing bad is gonna happen. The rain never seems to cease at this time of the year. It pours from the sky in its unending grief, as if longing for something unseen. You mean to tell me Ami made this game? It's like, you wish. Thunder roared in the distance, enough so to make the young woman flinch, but not enough to make her waver. Soon they will all be gone as Ami is. Yeah, possibly, you never know. It's like, they could all already be dead. Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, I think chronologically this game was made before A Date with Death, so don't expect anything fancy. It's like, yeah, I probably will. It's like, I'll exercise them. Yeah, I like my bad ends. The pendulum clock on the wall swung back and forth, ticking down the time. She seems to be late. Perhaps she's not coming after all, Amelie. There's no need to make such a sullen face. Mayhaps this is for the best. ... Domo Bucky, welcome, just in time. We just got started. How you doing? Domo Surveillance Burb, just in time. We just got started. She wrote that she would be here, so I shall wait. The young lady named Amelie sat upright on the lounge that was rested by the entryway. Yeah, lie down. Go ahead. Her back was straight and her head was level. Do you truly believe it's safe to have visitors during the outbreak? Lyrica, I believe we have been isolated long enough, and Sophia has written that it is safe. I trust her word. Yeah, a lot of people are sick lately. It's that time of the year. It's like, it's post-holidays, so if you spend time with a lot of people or we're out a lot, it's like you get sick and all that stuff, and it's winter, so people are inside, and that spreads disease, and you know. Don't make it chill, welcome, just in time. But yeah, otherwise I hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. She would not endanger us. And if your pen pal turns out to be a robber in disguise, what then? Amelie smiled. She has a way with words that only a woman could have. A lady robber, then? Nonsense. By the way, Lyrica, have you seen my letters? I can't say that I have. A knock sounded at the door, instantly halting their conversation. Amelie rose from her place and took a steady step forward before Lyrica raised a hand to her. Allow me. The door groaned as it slowly swung open and revealed the young woman who knocked at the door. She was drenched from head to toe. Yeah, lady robber. Like, they be getting them lady... We've had lady robbers since, like, Catwoman and shit. Domo Vivi, welcome, just in time. How you doing? Hope you had a good weekend so far. Amelie stood stock still, unsure of what to say. But that only lasted a moment before the woman at her door bounded forward and wrapped her arms around her. Amelie! Sophia! She blinked before finally allowing her arms to wrap around Sophia's back. My, you're completely drenched. Did you forget your umbrella, perchance? Or perhaps your umbrella got carried away by the wind? Lyrica pushed the door shut, sealing the building. Eh? I don't even think I didn't even think to bring an umbrella. The forecast said sunny all day. My fault for believing it, I guess. Yeah, that's a big jacket. It's got like stars and stuff on it. This is like a quadruple XL kind of sweater. Might as well be a dress. I can't believe you're truly here. Me neither. About time, right? You're just as pretty as I knew you'd be. ... She likes to be baggy. Yeah, you know. Yeah, how you get beat by that sweater gang. He's like, I got me some big sweaters. And you too. But what are you wearing? Seeing your house, I feel like I should have dressed up a little more. No, perhaps it is I that is overdressed. Lydica stood to the side, her arms crossed lightly over her chest. Her long hair reached down nearly to the wooden floor. Pardon my manners. My dear friend Lydica is here too. I believe I wrote about her in the past. I remember. I've kept all your letters safe. Don't worry. As you should. Sorry, is there any chance you have a towel? Of course. My apologies. I would usually have someone here to attend to us, but everyone's been sent home. Only the three of us remain. You know, just 3 girls with a whole mansion to themselves. Gotta have a pillow fight. Let me fetch you a towel. Like, I gotta not slap the mic. Amelie knew not to run, yet part of her felt the need to almost skip in joy. She wanted desperately to be by Sophia's side, chatting about everything that they'd missed in their letters. The two had been pen pals for as long as she remembered. Sophia's letter had been delivered to the manor by mistake, but for some reason Amelie had felt compelled to reply. Since then, the two had been the best of friends, even having not met face to face. To finally meet now in the flesh had certainly been of great excitement to Amelie. She quickly retrieved the towel and made her way back to Sophia's side. Lydica stood a distance away from her, still looking vaguely unhappy. Sophia spun around, a look of surprise on her face when she saw Amelie. Sophia? Oh, Amelie. Please use this. Thanks. I'll bring an umbrella next time, I promise. Sophia lightly toweled at her hair and clothing, drying off from the rain she'd found herself caught in. And if you're now dried off, would you care for a tour of the house before afternoon tea? That sounds great. On your right is the pantry, and down the hall is the boiler room, but you shouldn't have any need for those spaces. The two walked side by side, with Lydica trailing slightly behind. These are all guest bedrooms. I have prepared this one for your use. If you find anything not to your standards, you can let myself or Lydica know. Like, dang, how big is this place? She looks like a corpse. Yeah, it's like she's got like those pale eyes, and it's like, I don't know, maybe she is a ghost. Amelie, I have a feeling your standards are much higher than mine. I've never even been in a house that looks like this. No? Is your home not familiar? Well, it's a lot smaller. There's no shame in that. You own your own property, yes? Yeah, I recently bought it. With your husband? Why? No, of course not. I'm not married. Your father allowed you to buy property on your own? Amelie, you speak just like how you write. I'm so surprised. And you speak quite casually. Yeah, it's like, don't worry, I'm single. People usually say that about me. Being here around you makes me want to be more formal. What need is there of formality between friends? That's true too. This is the morning room, and next door the dining room. We'll be having afternoon tea in the sitting room here. So many rooms. Upstairs is my bedroom and the master bedroom. I must ask that you don't enter the master bedroom, as it belongs to my parents, who are currently away. Of course, I won't go poking around anyway. All this walking has made me parched. Shall we take afternoon tea now? Sure, that sounds good. Why don't you have a seat while Lydica and I prepare our food? Oh, I can come help. Nonsense! You are my guest! It would be remiss of me to allow you to lift a finger. If you insist, but I'm happy to help any time. Thank you. I will be back soon. Please rest. Amelie. Yes? It's nothing. Take your time. Remiss. Yeah, she's got that very fancy vocabulary. That's why I wound up leaning towards like a posh British accent for her. Because I was like, oh, she's rich and fancy, so she's got to have a rich, fancy voice. Sophia slipped through a doorway and disappeared. Amelie smiled gently, feeling giddy from the bottom of her stomach. Got the butterflies? Isn't this lovely, Lilica? To have a new face in the house. It feels like forever. Yes, how lovely. I'm glad you're having fun at the very least. Are you not? I'm always having fun when we're together, Amelie. Like, thick Scottish accent would be funny. I could give that to Lilica. Just to be a troll. I was getting a French vibe, but I guess those tropes have blended together. They kind of have. I usually save my French accent for when they start, like, saying random foreign words. Ah, I see. Are you jealous? Worry not, my dear friend. Of course our friendship means just as much to me. I value you greatly. How do you even do a Scottish accent? I'd like, where's Miss Seneca when you need her? Just as much! Indeed. Come along, Lilica. Let us prepare tea. Amelie seems more like a French name. Yeah, it kind of is. I think it is French. Did you finish the baking yesterday? The pastries are ready for serving. Okay, I can't do that with a straight face. I think I'll just stick to like a bratty voice. Excellent, I'll just fetch the tea then. Allow me! A lady of your standing shouldn't be doing such a menial task, should she? Don't be absurd! Even Sophia herself seems to be fine in the kitchen. Did you hear how she jumped to help? I should follow in her footsteps. Do a demo man impression. I don't know. I should follow in her footsteps. What would your parents think of that? I appreciate the sentiment, but they took with them all of the staff. I have little choice but to prepare my own tea. I see. Then shall I attend to our guest? I wouldn't want her to become lonely. Would you? I'll only be a few moments. Of course, anything for you, Amelie. It would be a good chance for you to become friends, too. I'm sure it will be. Lilica left the kitchen with low, deliberate steps. Amelie turned back to the kitchen. I wonder what she would prefer. How about some oolong? Father imported this for Mother, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind if I borrowed a little. There. Amelie retrieved her finest teapot and 3 matching cups. Pink flowers blossomed over the white surface. Something about it reminded her of Sophia. Leave us. She's mine, corpse woman. Maybe it's pink like the stars on her sweater? I'm back! Oh, she's not happy. Sophia? Oh, Amelie. I'm sorry, you scared me. Is everything alright? Yes, I think I'm just a little tired. Good, I'm sorry for the delay, but I've prepared the tea and the pastries. So, this is what a high tea looks like. A high tea will come later. This is just a simple afternoon tea. Will Lilica be joining us? I believe so. Was she here a moment ago? No, she wasn't here. Okay, I think Lilica actually said that. She might have. She might have told her, like, fuck off! How strange. She told me she was coming to sit with you. Perhaps she's gotten herself busy with something else. Should we wait? There's no need. It would be sad to let the tea go cold. Amelie poured tea into the 2 cups slowly, copying the movement she's seen Lilica do time and time again. I take a quick water sip and my brain goes fuzzy. Did you have much trouble getting here? What makes a good demo man? If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be here discussing with you now, would I? Like, okay, fair. A little. My ride broke down, so I had to walk for a bit. Broke down? I'm extremely sorry. If the staff had been here, I would have sent someone to collect you. It's okay. It's just a little rain. I just wouldn't want you to catch... I just wouldn't want you catching a fever. My medicine store has been running low of late. No worries. I usually carry ibuprofen with me. Smart girl. Ibuprofen? I haven't heard of it. Yeah, it's not how fevers work. It's one of those wives' tales, but don't worry about it. Anyway, I'm glad you arrived here safely. I'll draw a bath for you later to make sure you are warmed up properly. Thank you. Amelie sipped at her tea before looking down at it with a confused expression. A little stale. I'll ask my father to procure a new batch when he arrives home. Where are your parents, by the way? Like, where are your parents, by the way? Wrong voice. Ugh. Like, stay consistent. Ah. Well, we were separated due to the plague. Plague? They took the staff to wait until a cure is found and left me here with Lilika as to not catch the disease. Right, I understand. I spent a lot of time separated from my family due to the pandemic too. Oh, so this is like COVID times. I was like, plague? What? What year is it? You can survive just alcohol? Wow. It warms my heart to find another thing in common with you, Sophia. I was surprised to hear that it's safe enough for you to visit. Perhaps that means my parents will be back soon, too. I think so. The world seems to be opening back up again. So, what do you do, locked up in this big house all the time? Well, I usually spend my time sewing or playing music. I used to write, but... Well, my parents wondered if it was feminine enough. I don't really think that matters. If you enjoy it, then I say you should do it. Sophia? Yeah, I'm like, what? It's like, what year is it? Thank you for the follow, Domo, welcome. It's like she's talking about being all posh with her afternoon tea and her feminine activities and trying to avoid the plague. It's like, did Sophia accidentally travel back in time? Then what about you? Well, I'm studying art at university right now, so I guess that's what I spend most of my time on. You attend university? Yeah, although I'm thinking about dropping out. Sophia, you truly are filled with surprises. You own your own land and you attend school. How jealous I am. Your turn briefly to enlighten me? Enlighten me of what? Why don't you do the same? Oh no, I'm not allowed. Of course you are. Anyone can attend within reason. Yeah, what is your cosmic wisdom? For context clues, it's clearly Amelie is from the past. Yeah, so it's like, how did Sophia get here? Because it's like, assuming this is Amelie's house. But I don't know, we'll find out. That's the thing, it's a Yuri mystery. Yeah, magic. But, well, wouldn't it get in the way of my marriage? You're engaged? Amelie shook her head. No, not yet, but I'm already 19. I'm sure my father has prepared my dowry. An arranged marriage? Yes, naturally. Yeah, and friendship. Friendship is magic. Oh, yeah, and of course, Yuri witchcraft. Of course. Gotta have that. I don't think I'll ever get married. Really? Doesn't your family object? I don't think they really mind as long as I'm happy. You don't have to either, you know. You've given me much to think about. Much indeed. Now, I wonder where Lilika has disappeared to. Well, it's no matter. The evening is already coming, and soon it will be dark. Shall I draw you a bath? That sounds wonderful. To be honest, I'm not hungry, so can we skip dinner tonight? Of course, if that's what you wish. Let me show you to the bathroom. Domo Lolek, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, it's like you can marry a woman. Wonk wonk. You may not believe it, but my father has taps installed. Isn't that wonderful? Like, taps for baths? That's for a bath? You're not that good? Oh, no. It's like, you're colorblind. That news came completely out of the... Like, oh, no, how tragic. It's like, well, hopefully you weren't planning on becoming a pilot. Well, at least now you know what's red, blue, and what's red, what's red, what's black, white, and red all over. A newspaper. Beating her for speaking out of turn. Yeah. It's like, assuming that we've been time traveling back to the 1700s, but again, we'll find out. That's right. We used to have our maids fill the bath, but now there's no need. Amelie, you're so strange. I have taps at my house too. Truly, you must live quite the lavish lifestyle yourself. I don't know about that. Yeah, she could be a spooky ghost. This is the bathroom. Allow me to draw the bath for you. One moment. With haste, Amelie entered the room and began to fill the copper bath. It sat in the middle of a spacious bathroom. It was something Amelie was particularly fond of. She smiled as it filled before rejoining her companion. Domo Doom Guy, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, she probably wants her to leave before she finds out, hey, you're hanging out with lesbian ghosts. Why is she sounding British? It's like, that's just the vibes I got because she's rich and fancy and uses, like, posh words. Feel free to go inside and make yourself comfortable. I will return with a towel in a moment. It's like, that and I didn't feel like it making her sound French. I probably should have gone with a French accent, but I don't care. My stream, my rules. Yeah, it's like those Victorian clothes you so fancy. Yeah, thanks. She disappeared inside the room, leaving Amelie alone in the hall. I should light the sconces, too. Where did I put those matches? Right here. Ah! You gave me a fright, Lilica. Where have you been? Preparing the guest room for your dear friend, of course. How kind. Sophia's just preparing for a bath at the present. I'm going to retrieve a towel for her from the linen closet. Amelie, I think it's best you send her home post-haste. What? Why would I do that? Yeah, we don't see very modern day ghosts. It's like we need some Zoomer ghosts. Or at least like a 90s ghost, one that's like, it's like you see like like anyone remember Pogs? Not like the reason why PogChamp is a thing is because there's like these things called Pogs. It's like they're like the little milk caps. It's like, imagine a ghost that, like, threw Pogs at people. Or, like, a 90s ghost that, like, haunted a Game Boy. Frenchie would explain why she's dead. If she's dead, who knows? Maybe Sophia's the dead one. For all you know, she brings with her the plague. Sophia says it is now safe to travel. She believes father and mother will be returning soon. I believe it is perfectly safe. You're not 90s enough for that. Yeah, there's plenty of creepypasta about haunted game cartridges. Yeah, that's true. It's like we got Ben drowned and all that. So maybe some 2000 stuff, like, maybe a Hot Topic ghost. And what if she lies? She wouldn't do that. Sophia's a kind and good-natured person. She would not bring any danger to us. Yeah, ghost with a fushigi. You want me one that died like yesterday? It's like, yeah, have them haunting Twitter. Did you know that Sophia attends a local university? And she lives by herself with no husband. She says that if I wanted, I could also study. The lady of the house should not study, Amelie. You must stay inside the house and await your parents. But I'm sure Mother would want the best for me. Perhaps while I await her, I should go to inspect Sophia's school. Amelie, you must stay inside and await your parents' return. But don't you trust me? Have I ever tried to lead you astray? I don't know, we're about to find out. Yeah, it's like a ghost in a denim jacket, like just all denim. Yeah, Lilika is like a possessive brat. It's like, I would not be surprised if she was like trying to keep her locked up in here on purpose. No, Lilika, I was just thinking that perhaps it truly is beginning to be safe. Look, I have brought today's newspaper. Do you see the title? The plague runs rampant. Or the plague runs rampant. It's like, keep getting the voices mixed up. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Yeah, she's beat a bossy goober. Put any notion of leaving or studying away for now, yes? As soon as it is truly safe to do so, then we shall, and you'll be reunited with your family in the afterlife. What? For now, it is just you and me. Thanks, Lilika. I'm glad you're here. As am I. Ah, the towel. Let me go retrieve it. Go ahead. The linen cupboard was filled with various towels and bedding, all clean and properly folded, thanks to Lilika. Which would suit her? How about pink? This one. It reminds me of her eyes. It's like me curing the Black Death by just teaching normal hand washing. Yeah, that would be quite revolutionary, wouldn't it? It's like, wash your hands. Don't touch your bum. With her chosen towel in hand, Amelie returned to the bathroom door where Lilika awaited her. She first knocked at the door, and when there was no reply, she opened it carefully. The sound of the tap running still came from inside. Excuse me, I'm coming in. Sophia, I knocked but didn't hear a reply. I've brought you a towel. Amelie first saw a slender, marble-like back. Then she noticed the blue hair that fell on those bare shoulders, one side tucked carefully behind an ear. Oh, Sophia, please forgive me. I didn't realize you had already entered the bath. No, it's okay. I'm sorry, you just surprised me. I'll leave the towel over here. Thanks. ... Did you tell her that she must depart? No, Is something the matter? Are you feeling unwell? Your face is bright red. Sophia will stay until she decides to leave. Yeah, it's like, oh no, she's hot! As you wish. Sorry, Lilika, but the image of that small and beautiful back filled up Amelie's mind. I believe it is only fair, after she traveled so far, and she is my friend. I will finish preparing the guest room. Let me come help. Let me come help. Sophia, when you're done in there, you can come to your room. From the other side of the door, Sophia's voice came in return. Okay, thanks, Amelie. Yeah, those bare ankles. Like, she just saw her back and she's just like, oh! Oh! The guest's bedroom was freshly cleaned, with new linen on the bed and a lit lantern beside it. You did a fine job of preparing the room so far. Thank you, Lilika. Anything for you. I was thinking, tomorrow, if the rain has cleared up, we could open the greenhouse again and have morning tea there. It's been so long since we last used it. Didn't we already speak of this? You cannot leave the house. But surely the greenhouse would be safe. No one else uses it, and it is only a few steps from the back door. Yeah, it's like, show those bare ankles. Yeah, Doma Viether, it's like no French accent. It's like, look. It's like, I'm going with British. It's like, final answer. It is unsafe. You know this. What's gotten into you? Is it because of your friend? I just thought it would be nice to at least sit in the sun. Then you may sit by the window in the dining hall. Is it really so unsafe that even taking a foot outdoors would be dangerous? Yes. Sophia, I see you're done with the bath. Amelie shook her head, trying to remove the image that was still plastered to it. Were you talking about the greenhouse? Yes, did you see it when you arrived? I did, but it looked as if the plants inside had died. Oh, that's impossible. It's barely been any time at all since the gardeners left. I'm sure the plants inside are more sturdy than that. Well, even if they have died, maybe we can go in and replant some things tomorrow. How wonderful. Yeah, it's like the sun touching grass. Heaven forbid. Yeah, it's like a Victorian child dying after feeding a single Sour Patch Kid. Yeah. Have you not heard a word I said? It is unsafe to do so. Yeah, it's like ghosts, vampires, ghouls, time travel. We'll find out what's going on, but right now it's hella sus. Oh, don't be such a spoil sport. I think it would be perfectly fine. Well, it's getting late now, so I'll leave you to retire. If you need anything, my room is just upstairs on the left. Good night, Sophia. Lilica left first. The door, which was still hanging slightly open, shifted as she went. Oh yeah, they can be. They can be. Yeah, they could also be role-playing. This could be like their lesbian kink fantasy. Who knows? I don't think it's time travel. It'd be fun to go into a greenhouse if it was time travel. Yeah, no. Figured not. This picture makes you think it's a dating sim. Well, I mean, it's a Yuri, so, you know. Yuri visual novel. But not really a dating sim. It's just got cute girls in it, doing cute things with each other. So close enough. Your bet is ghost. Yeah, I'm also betting ghosts. But again, we'll see. We can only speculate right now. Amelie, would you stay for a while? Is something the matter? Yeah, it's like I gotta expel that snot. You know how it is. Just a little homesick. Sophia sunk into the bed, sighing as her head hit the pillow. Of course. Why don't we chat for a while? Then come join me. Sophia gently pet the spot beside her in the bed. In the bed? Okay. The bed was still rather firm, unused by many guests. Amelie took a deep breath to calm her racing heart before she finally looked towards Sophia. Thanks for staying with me for a while. Yeah, very deficient in cute girls. It's like, have you had your daily recommended dosage of cute girls today? It's nothing to worry about. Truly, I wanted to spend more time with you too. Really? You don't find me boring? You are the most interesting person I've ever met. Yeah, me neither. Don't be silly. I am being completely honest. You truly are so unique. I think the same about you. I've never met anyone like you. Really. Yeah, it's like, you know, poor, sheltered, rich girl. We have to fix her. And by fix her, I mean, don't worry. You write so much about yourself, and yet seeing you in person, I fear there is still so much I don't know. There's plenty of time for us to tell each other everything. Then tell me something about yourself. Something you've never told anyone. I'm partly blind in my right eye. Corrector? Yeah, sure. Like, sure, that works. Really? How well can you see? It's okay. Just a little blurry, really. You tell me something. Well, when I was 12, I stole the cookie jar from the kitchen and blamed my brother. He was scolded for hours. What a mischievous child. I'm sure your brother wasn't all too pleased. Actually, it was his idea. He knew I wanted it and told me to tell my parents it was him if I asked. What a good brother. Where is he now? Did he go away with your parents? Amelie shook her head. He died when he was 16. Oh, I'm so sorry, Amelie. What happened? Yeah, hours. That's crazy. Scarlet fever. So my family was left with only me as an heir. And what worse is a female heir? You're worth plenty. More than plenty. Thank you, Sophia, but some days I am unsure. It's your turn again. Truthfully, I said before I don't want to get married, but that's not exactly right. I do. Oh? I just don't want a husband. Yeah, Google scarlet fever. It's like scarlet fever, that's gotta be like 1800s. It's like you could probably stamp a time period with that alone. Then, I'm sorry, does it make you uncomfortable? No. I'm surprised Sophia didn't question it, like, wait a minute, scarlet fever? It's like, didn't we, like, develop medicine to cure that, like, hundreds of years ago? I also have thought that I don't want a husband. Whenever my father has brought it up, I've felt sick to my stomach. How about coming away with me for a while? Away? Outside of the house? What about the sickness? It's okay now. You'll be okay. You could come stay at my house. I could show you around my school. You don't have to go through an arranged marriage if you don't want to. You would do that for me? You are my dearest friend. And I... Actually... Lilika? At some point, the two women had gotten close enough together that they could feel each other's breath on their lips. Ooh. It's still around, but much less prevalent due to antibiotics. Got it. I had a feeling that that was the case. So that's probably why she didn't question it. She's like, oh, they must have not treated him. The two parted with reddened cheeks, Amelie quickly brushing her skirt off and standing up. It's like, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, maybe I was. I should be going to bed. Please, rest well. We could talk more about it in the morning, right? Right. Good night, Amelie. I'll see you tomorrow. Lilika? It is late. You should retire to your room. Yes, I shall. It's nice having someone else around, isn't it? I feel as if the manor is coming back to life. Yeah, getting flustered by the cute girls. It's like, pretty good, cute girls. Yeah, I mean, she's of age. She's 19. And Sophia's in university, so she's also an adult. So it's all good. Lilika, who the hell knows? She could probably be a 500-year-old vampire. I don't know. We'll find out. I hope we see Mother and Father soon. I'm sure we will. Shall I see you to bed? Yes, please. The hallway was darkened, with only a few sconces and candles lit along the way. Usually that would fill Amelie with a sense of comfort, but right now the flickering flames seemed to make her feel distressed. Whether that was because of the way her mind was racing or the way her heart was beating, she didn't know. As she rose up the grand staircase, her eyes lingered on the large stained glass window. The moon shone through the colored glass, leaving a rainbow of colors over the steps. Yeah, no electric lights. They got sconces, whatever those are. It caught her attention for only a moment before she retreated to her bedroom. She didn't question what a car is. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking it's like cars aren't like super new. I mean, technically, when were cars invented? Yeah, it's like they were invented in like 1886. So it's like it's possible our parents have a car. I don't know. So it's like it could be like 100-year difference. Like she's like, so it might be after Victorian ages. I don't know. Lydica, may I ask you a question? Certainly. Have you ever heard of a woman loving another woman as a woman would love a man? Where did you hear about such a thing? Nowhere in particular. It was just a thought that came into my mind. I think you are overtired because of all the excitement, Amelie. I think it is best you get some rest. Yeah, near the start of the Industrial Revolution. Yeah! Because, you know, there was still, like, rich, fancy people during that time period. And antibiotics... When were antibiotics invented? Antibiotics... invented... Yeah, they weren't invented until, like, 1928. So... if cars appeared in the 1880s and antibiotics were late 30s, because it's like if it was 1928, we'll say 30s. Then yeah, there's like a 50-year gap in between where like this could take place. All right, good night. Good night, Amelie. Good morning, Liliga. I was just on my way to see if Sophia has awakened yet. Amelie. Sophia disappeared during the night. I believe she went to the same place your parents went. What? That cannot be right. Don't run, Amelie! Amelie dashed down the hall and knocked quickly on the door to the guest room, which fell open with no resistance. The plague is cooties, maybe. Wasn't there also, like, the Spanish flu or something? During, like, the early 1900s? I don't know. Inside, the bedding was disheveled, and her luggage was strewn about. It's not true! She wouldn't just leave without saying goodbye! Dearie me. I'm sorry. I told you it was a bad idea for anyone to visit, didn't I? Oh, Lilica, this isn't fair. I thought she said she would. There, come here. Lilica wrapped her thin arms around the young woman, gently patting her on the back. See, you shouldn't depend on anyone else. I'm here. I won't ever leave you. The Spanish flu was 1918. That fits our time span. It's like that could work. So it's like this could be like, assuming this is it's like I want to say it's 100-year difference. I want to say Sophia is 2020 and they're 1920. Final answer, locking it in. We'll find out what the actual answer is. Yeah, Amelie clutched at her back, tears already falling from her eyes. We'll be together forever. Side Amelie 1-1 together forever. Yeah, Amelie's POV only has one ending, but now that we finished her ending, we can see what happened to Sophia. Yep, now it's Sophia's turn. Oh, infected, 50 million died. Yeah, okay, fair. I was like, wait a minute. The rain never seems to cease at this time of year. It pours from the sky in its unending grief. Oh. Yeah, unending grief, as if longing for something unseen. Thunder roared in the distance, enough so to make the young woman flinch, but not enough to make her waver. The taxi gently rocked as the road turned to rubble, and the rumble turned to overgrown dirt track. Outside the window, Sophia could barely see a few feet away through the raging storm. It made her feel uneasy. In her lap, a letter. She read the words again, despite knowing them off by heart. Dear Sophia, how glad I am to hear that you are well. I am healthy, although I believe I may have a problem of the heart. It has gotten quite lonely waiting here for my parents to return. I will check my posture. I am thankful to have Ladyka residing with me, but I still await the day where my family will be reunited. I will also hydrate as well. There we go. But you say that it is safe enough for you to visit? Truly? I have never even dared to dream of being able to see you in the flesh. If it is true, then I will await you at the address written on the back of this letter. Yours, Amelie.
You sure you have the address, right? We're in the middle of nowhere.
Sophia stared at the fragile, handwritten address that Amelie had left her, had trusted to her. Yeah, this is the right way. I'm sure of it. Her heart wouldn't settle. Meeting what would be a stranger in the middle of nowhere on a day like this? Who wouldn't be nervous? Yet there was something else. Eagerness. A thrill. Something beyond mere nerves that turned into excitement. What'd you forget, Doom Guy? You need to be tucked in? Alright. Yoshi, Yoshi. Yoshi, Yoshi. There you go. She could barely imagine the hand that had penned the letters she had been receiving for years on end, let alone a face. Like, it's a simple request. Like, I'm willing to fulfill simple requests that I am comfortable doing. Put your hand through her chest. Nah. It's like, not getting there yet. But for some reason, her heart still beat hard when reading the words that the mysterious young lady of 19 from a man around the middle of nowhere wrote to her. Not yet. Yeah. We'll find out. We don't know. Desperate to calm her jitters, she pulled out her phone, looking to send her worried family one last message of reassurance, only to find that it wouldn't switch on. I'm sure it was fully charged. The rain was falling even more heavily now. In the distance, a building sprang into view. It was surrounded by a tall metal fence with an ornate gate firmly shut at the front. Yeah, probably be buried in the greenhouse. Gotta grow those plants somehow. We need some fertilizer. Normal people, welcome. How you doing? Just then, the taxi sputtered and rolled to a stop, smoke rising from the hood.
What the? I had this serviced a week ago.
Is something wrong?
Sorry, miss. Looks like we're out of action.
It's okay. I think we're nearly there anyway. Pulling the cash from her wallet, she handed her fare and stepped out of the car. Yeah, anti-machine field. Yeah, the rain bucketed down from above, soaking her to the very core. She shivered as she dashed toward the iron gate. Well, that's another thing. Did she specifically say car, or did she just say, my ride? Because if she just said, my ride, Amelie could have just assumed it was a horse-drawn carriage. I don't know. Surprisingly, it pushed open with little effort and not even a creak. Sophia stopped in front of the large wooden door, finally free from the seemingly never-ending downpour. From afar, the door had seemed inviting enough, but now it looked awfully large and imposing. And yet she raised her fist and knocked anyway. Silence followed. Is this not the right place at all? The door swung open, this time with a low, menacing groan. On the other side of the doorway was a fair girl with long brown hair and golden eyes. Sophia, forgetting the fact that she was soaking wet, rushed forward and embraced the girl. Amelie! Sophia! Amelie's gentle arms wrapped around Sophia's back in return, and finally all of Sophia's worries melted away. Ma, you're completely drenched. Did you forget your umbrella, perchance? Or perhaps her umbrella got carried away by the wind? Behind Sophia, the door swung shut without any assistance. I didn't even think of bringing an umbrella. The forecast said sunny all day. My fault for believing it, I guess. They said this already. Yeah, me neither. About time, right? You're just as pretty as I knew you'd be. And you too. Well, what are you wearing? Okay, this dialogue is different. Or maybe it's not. Maybe, I don't know. It's like, maybe retreading the dialogue might actually be a good idea so we can, like, dissect it. It's at your house. I feel like I should have dressed up a little more. No, perhaps it is I that is overdressed. Sophia smiled. Somehow her dress sense seemed to fit her writing style perfectly. Old-fashioned and yet very neat and respectable. Sophia felt the heat rising to her cheeks. She really was so refined and elegant. Pardon my manners, my dear friend Liliga is here too. I believe I wrote about her in the past. I remember. I've kept all your letters safe. Don't worry. As you should. Sorry, but is there any chance you have a towel? Of course. My apologies. I would usually have someone here to attend to us, but everyone's been sent home. Only the three of us remain. Let me fetch you a towel. Amelie withdrew from the hug. She was a little taller than Sophia, despite both being the same age. Okay, they're both 19. Sophia peered up at her from below before she disappeared down a hallway and into another room. This really is a manor. When she told me about her house, I almost didn't believe it. A layer of dust rested against a tabletop, along with a few other items. On the standee, a newspaper sat open. Empty always. Newspaper? The city was a deep emerald green. It looked almost unused despite its apparent age. Yeah, I was like, it's like, since she has different endings, I don't know if her dialogue choices are gonna matter now or not, so it's like, I just saved just in case. On it read a newspaper, open in a few pages. Sophia turned her head to read the headline, but from afar could only read the word plague. Because remember, she has issue seeing in one eye. She reached across to pick up the newspaper. Behind Sophia, the window began to shake in the wind as her fingertips grazed the surface. So windy. You're getting cold? Yeah, it's like, get under the covers. Tuck yourself in. Doom guy, tuck Cosmic in. She spun around just in time to see the door fly open, and a howling wind filled the entryway. She scrambled to the door and with great effort shut it again. Phew! Amelie? When Sophia spun back around, the newspaper and the items on the table were all gone. Sophia? You'll return in like a half hour? Okay. Oh, Amelie. Please use this. Thanks, I'll bring an umbrella next time, I promise. Yeah, very mysterious. It's almost as if they don't want her to see what's in the newspaper. It's like the house has a mind of its own. Sophia took the towel in her hand. It was soft, but somewhat old. She lightly dried her hair and clothes, but still found herself cold. Then, if you're now dried off, would you care for a tour of the house before afternoon tea? Sounds great. On your right is the pantry, and down the hall is the boiler room. But you shouldn't have any need for those spaces. The two walked side by side, alone in such a big manor. These are all guest bedrooms. I prepared this one for your use. Find anything not to your standards, you can let myself or Liliga know. I made the same exact fucking mistake twice reading that. Jesus Christ. Amelie, I have a feeling your standards are much higher than mine. I've never even been in a house that looks like this. No. Your house not similar? Well, it's a lot smaller. Yeah, I think I recently bought it with your husband. Yeah, this is the same dialogue. What year did taps become commonplace? I don't know. Google it. Yeah, people used to say that about me. Being here around you makes me want to be more formal. What is there a formality between friends? That's true, too. Mid-20th century? Okay, so... I think I had the right idea. This is the morning room, and next door is the dining room. We'll be having afternoon tea in the sitting room here. So many rooms. Upstairs is my bedroom and the master bedroom. I must ask that you don't enter. Yeah, she said that already. From the landing below, Sophia could see the door to the master bedroom. For some reason, her eyes were glued to it. Come inside. Come open the door. We're waiting for you. Whoa! Of course, I won't go poking around anyway. Sophia shook her head and time seemed to resume around her. I'll this walking has made me parched. Shall we take afternoon tea now? Sure, that sounds good. Why don't you have a seat while Linika and I prepare our food? Oh, I could come help.
Oh.
Nonsense, you are my guest. It would be remiss of me to allow you to lift a finger. Defy fate. Alright, I think that's it. Whoa. Yeah, so maybe I should defy my fate since we know what happens? Or should I accept my fate? I don't know. Try defying it. If you insist, but I'm happy to help anytime. Thank you, I will be back soon. Please rest. Amelie, yes? It's nothing, take your time. Actually, is it okay to ask if I ask you something? Of course it is. Is there someone else in the house with us? There's no one else apart from myself, you, and Linika. Yeah, it was weird for a second. It's like, when I tried to exit the screen, it was a little funky on my end, but it looks like it didn't record on OBS. Weird. That's why I was like, whoa! But it's fine now. And Linika is... She's just gone to the kitchen. Didn't you see her enter? Right, my vision must be playing up. Is something the matter? No, it's fine. I'll be waiting for you inside. The room was spacious, and dead silent apart from Sophia's footsteps as she crossed the wooden floor. Each step was deliberate and slow as her eyes searched through the room. Nothing in particular stood out. Large windows showed a glimpse of the outside world through her thick curtains. The rain was still coming down hard, obscuring her view. The windows shook every now and then, but the wind had seemed to die down a little. Behind her, a chair at the dining table had been pulled out, as if it were waiting for her to sit down. Amelie, was that you? Yeah, your house hella spoopy. Yeah, so maybe she might explore the master bedroom since we clicked to defy fate. We'll see. Her hand rested against her chest, begging her heart to calm. Or Lilika? Whether a hollow laugh sounded through the room or not, she wasn't sure. She quietly sat down in the seat that was left for her. The table was already set, but once again she noticed a thin layer of dust on the surface. Through the silence, Sophia could hear it again. Footsteps. But this time from directly above. The master bedroom? Oh, jeez. In front of her very eyes, Sophia watched the scene unfold. A woman, not older than 40, removed her shoes and stepped onto the table, yet nothing was disturbed. She reached up and took hold of the noose. The rope wrapped around her neck, like the finest pearl necklace. Join me. The woman's eyes locked onto Sophia's. Her hand was outstretched, waiting to be taken. A rusty smell filled her nose, ascended with the faint smell of perfume. Sophia shivered in response, her breath frosty on her lips. She reached for the hand slowly. I'm back! Ah! Yeah, let's defy our fate. Sophia? Oh. Amelie. I'm sorry, you scared me. Is everything alright? Sophia stared at the spot the woman was only a moment ago. Both she and the noose had disappeared. Amelie, something is the matter, isn't it? Something happened within this room? Happen? What exactly do you mean? Did a woman with brown hair tied in a bun and a dark green dress ever live here? Well, it sounds to me like you're describing my mother. Your mother? Yeah, she's just as you described, but you wouldn't have even seen her here. She's still away. Right. Let me pour us tea before it gets cold. Will Lilika be joining us? I believe so. Was she here a moment ago? No, she wasn't here. How strange. She told me she was coming to sit with you. Perhaps she's gotten herself busy with something else. Should we wait? There's no need. It would be sad to let the tea go cold. Sophia watched as the tea filled 2 out of the 3 of the cups. The third cup sat empty. Yeah, Doom guy. Yeah, she picked up the cup and brought it to her lips. It was oolong tea. Ah, so our choice from the first route is affecting the second route. Okay. No, we only made like a couple minor choices, so I think it's just gonna affect the dialogue. The taste was bitter and musty. With her heart on edge, she placed the cup back down on the saucer, smiling towards Amelie. Did you have much trouble getting here? A little. My ride broke down, so I had to walk for a bit. She did say my ride. She didn't say car. Broke down? Yeah, it's like she said that before. It's just a little rain. I want you catching a fever. Carry ibuprofen. She's never heard of it. I'll draw you a bath. Thanks. Amelie sipped at her tea before looking down at it with a confused expression. Yeah, I get a new batch. Where's your parents? Separated due to plague. Alright, I understand. I spent a lot of time separated from my family due to the pandemic too. Yeah, it warms my heart. Surprised me to hear that it's safe enough for you to visit. Yeah, it's like they're retreading right now, so I'm just gonna just summarize what they said last time. I think so. The world seems to be opening up back again. So I do locked up in this big house all the time. Yeah, spend my time sewing and playing music, but my parents are wondering if it's feminine enough. If you enjoy it, you should do it. I'm not EP. I'm trying to read. Yeah, then what about you? Yeah, it's like I'm studying art at university. You attend university. I was thinking of dropping out. It's like you attend school. Oh my god. I'm not allowed. Yeah, it's like when to get into my marriage. Yeah, it's like an arranged marriage. I don't think I'll ever get married. Yeah, it's like you don't have to. Yeah, so it's like, now I wonder where Litica has disappeared to. Well, it's no matter. The evening is already coming, and soon it'll be dark. Shall I draw you a bath? That sounds wonderful. To be honest, I'm not hungry, so can we skip dinner tonight? Of course, if that's what you wish, let me show you to the bathroom. Before she left the room, Sophia took one last look back at where that noose once hung. You may not believe it, but my father had taps installed. Isn't that wonderful? Like taps for a bath? Yeah, that's right. We used to have our maids fill the bath. Yeah, that's the same as last time. I have taps in my house too. You have a lavish lifestyle. Yeah, this is the bathroom. Allow me to draw the bath for you. One moment. Alone in the hallway, Sophia peered back up the grand staircase, past a large stained glass window, and at the dark door shut tight. A moment later, Amelie popped back out of the bathroom. Feel free to go inside and make yourself comfortable. I will return with a towel in a moment. Thanks, Amelie. Water spewed from the rusted pipes into the steel-lined wooden bathtub. Everything else was silent. Sophia took careful steps forward and peered into the bath. All seemed normal. With a sigh, she finally let her shoulders relax. Yet in her mind, all she could see was that woman with her outstretched hand reaching towards her. She clutched her hand to her chest. It still shook. Very shooketh. Sophia stumbled forward until her hands rested on either side of the washroom basin. Her fingers held on tight until her knuckles were bone white. It's okay, Sophia. You're just tired. Her eyes traveled up to the mirror. It was embellished with a golden frame. She stared at her reflection. She was still herself. It was all a figment of her imagination. That's what she saw it. In the mirror, standing behind her was a woman with long blonde hair that nearly reached down to the floor, and deep blood-red eyes. Like, hey, I think you're about to meet Lilica. She didn't try to speak or make any movement. She just stared with big, dark eyes. Who? Sophia wanted to spin around to confront the girl, but her whole body was frozen stiff. The young woman finally started to move. One step at a time, maintaining eye contact through the mirror, she crept closer. Closer and closer, until Sophia swore she could feel her breath on the back of her neck. Her mouth seemed to be moving, but no words escaped her lips. Who are you? She spun around,
But no one was there.
The water overflowed from the tub, spilling out over the floor. Sophia rushed forward to turn off the tap and noticed it. The water that came from the tap was red. A dark, deep red. She hurriedly turned the tap for what felt like forever, and finally it stopped. Sophia stared at the dark liquid inside the tub. Without thought, her hand dipped in. When she withdrew it, each finger was dyed red. Something about it captivated Sophia. She undressed one layer at a time, peeling away the still damp clothing and stepping forward and into the bathtub. She sank down, until everything under her shoulders was submerged in the liquid. It was heavier than water. Much heavier. As she stared directly ahead, those blood-red eyes reflected in her mind. Why not just end it here? You're scared, aren't you? Just sink down. Accept your fate. Accept... She could no longer hear the sound of the door opening as her face sunk down into the liquid, her eyes shut. Sophia? I knocked but didn't hear a reply. I've brought you a towel. Ah! Sophia's eyes sprung open. The water was clear, and the tap was still running, causing it to overflow onto the floor once again. Sophia withdrew her knees to her chest, still facing away from Amelie's voice. Heat rose to her cheeks. Being seen like this by her. Oh! Sophia, please forgive me. I didn't realize you had already entered the bath. No, it's okay. I'm sorry, you just surprised me. I'll leave the towel over here. Thanks. The door shut again. Sophia finally turned back to look at where Amelie once stood. No one was there anymore. Not Amelie, not a woman in a long green dress or a young lady with blonde hair. She sighed. What's going on? She sank into the water, although this time not fully conscious of what she was doing. Not feeling all that much better, she stepped out and took hold of the towel that Amelie had left for her. Water fell from her body as she stared at the cloth. The towel was pink, similar to her favorite hoodie. The towel was old, and full of holes and what seemed to be burn marks. Reluctantly, she wrapped it around her body. From outside the door, Amelie's voice called out to her. Let me come help, Sophie. Let me come help. Sophia, when you're done in there, you can come to your room. Okay, thanks, Amelie. Who is she helping? Lilica? She shivered. The room had become awfully cold, and the towel did little to bring her warmth. She picked up her discarded clothes and redressed. Her clothes felt foreign and wrong to her. Sophia took a deep breath, then swallowed hard. I'm okay. The hall was already darkened, with no light spilling in from the windows. A few sconces attached to walls were lit with live flames, but it offered little in the way of calming her. Step, step, step. The floor creaked under her weight. She stopped outside of their bathroom. Inside, she could hear talking. She put her ear to the door. Didn't we already speak of this? You can't not leave the house. Why is it saying Amelie is saying that dialogue? Lilica was supposed to be saying that. But yeah, but surely the greenhouse would be safe. Yeah, it's not changing. It's not changing who's saying it. Yeah. Like, this is not a mistake. Yeah, it's the same dialogue as last time, but now it's saying Amelie is saying it, so... Yeah, that's not a mistake. I don't think that's a mistake! Sophia opened the door and entered the room. Like, I don't think Amelie was a very reliable narrator. Gee, I wonder. Amelie stood by herself, making the bed. Sophia, I see you're done with the bath. Domo Neuros, welcome. Playing spooky lesbian game today. How you doing? Sophia looked away, thinking of what happened in the bathroom. Were you talking about the greenhouse? Yes, did you see it when you arrived? I did, but it looked as if the plants inside had died. Oh, that's impossible. It's barely been any time at all since the gardeners left. I'm sure the plants inside are more sturdy than that. Yeah, it's like first we played in Amelie, the main character's point of view. She's the one here on the left. And now that we completed her side of the story, we're playing on Sophia's side of the story. And Sophia's side of the story is the part where everything gets super, super spooky. It's like so far we saw a lady like stick her head in a noose. It's like the bathtub water turned red. Like someone put Kool-Aid in the bathtub. Well, even if they have died, maybe we could go in and replant some things tomorrow. How wonderful. And then she's like, have you not heard a word I said? It's unsafe to do so. Oh. Yeah, it's like, again, it's like Lilica's not here, and Amelie is saying the things that Lilica was saying. Gee, I wonder what's going on. Well, it's getting late now, so I'll leave you to retire. If you need anything, my room is just upstairs on the left. Good night, Sophia. The door shifted before Amelie could even reach to touch it. Sophia's eyes locked in on the movement. How did the door open? Who opened the door? Amelie, would you stay for a while? Is something the matter? Just a little homesick. Sophia sat down on the bed before resting her head on the pillow. It was hard. Of course, why don't we chat for a while? Then come join me. Sophia gently pet the spot beside her on the bed. In the bed? Okay. Yeah, Sophia looked towards Amelie in the low light. Right now, she seemed hauntingly beautiful, as if she were nothing more than a ghost. Thanks for staying with me for a while. It's nothing to worry about. Truly, I want to spend more time with you too. Really? You don't find me boring? You're the most interesting person I've ever met. Don't be silly. It's like, what are we gonna do on the bed? Yeah, you truly are so unique. It's like, again, I think I'm pretty sure we treaded this path before. I think the same about you. I've never met anyone else like you, really. Her mind flashed back to all she had seen. Really, she truly had never met anyone like Amelie. You hear so much about yourself, and yet seeing you in person, I fear there's still so much I don't know. There's plenty of time for us to tell each other everything. Yeah, and then this is the part where she's like, yeah, tell me something you've never told anyone. And it sounds like Kitty has returned from his trip from the garage, so one second. Okay. Yeah, it's like Kitty was like, I want to go in the garage before I started streaming, so he has returned. He loves his garage. Yeah, so she's like, yeah, I'm partly blind in one eye. And then she's like, yeah, the cookie jar. It was his idea, but then he died when he was 16 because of scarlet fever. He's like, you're worth it, girl. He's like, I don't want a husband. I want a wife. He's like, how about you come with me? He's like, let's run away together. Yes, away. Away from this place. It's okay now. You'll be okay. Yeah, you can come to my house. You don't have to do an arranged marriage. Like, you would do that for me? Yeah, start a witch coven together. Defy your fate. Why not? Nika? At some point, the two women had gotten close enough together that they could feel each other's breath on their lips. The two parted with reddened cheeks, Amelie quickly brushing her skirt off and standing up. I should be going to bed. Please rest well. We can talk more about it in the morning, right? Right. Good night, Amelie. I'll see you tomorrow. Amelie? Wait a moment. Yes? What does Lilica look like? Alright, now I think we're finally getting into new territory. What a funny question. You've seen her plenty of times already. With my eye, I sometimes struggle a little. She lied as naturally as she breathed. Right, my apologies. She has long blonde hair done up like this. She pretended to pour her hair into 2 low ponytails. What color are her eyes? Red, and she wears a dress of white and black with a red ribbon the same color as her eyes. Thank you, Amelie. Good night. See you in the morning. Amelie left the room. Meanwhile, Sophia's eyes studied the place. Ah, I think this is what it's been building up to, because before it was just saying defy, 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 and I'm like, is that leading up to something? I think this is going to determine, because it's like 2 dialogue choices, 2 endings. So let's see what accepting our fate does. We'll do that first, and then we'll go back and defy. For some reason, Sophia just couldn't sit still. She tried to lay down to rest, but turned this way and that, uneasy. I'll get some water. Yeah, let's see what happened in the original timeline. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because it's like, we did enough to have her start questioning things, so hence the choices. But we'll see what originally happened. The hallway was dark, with most of the sconces having been blown out already. Sophia stepped carefully through the space, conscious of the sound her footsteps created. The kitchen was by the stairwell. Hand-painted portraits were lined up in rows on either side of the hall. She stared up the grand staircase. Each step was inviting, enticing her to make the ascent. Her large eyes stared once again at the imposing stained glass window, and to the doors that awaited upstairs. Her hand rested against the kitchen door, her fingers dancing over the handle. It stayed there as her mind debated with itself. Waiting. Waiting. Come here. Come visit us. Her hand dropped to her side as she ascended, past the glass window and to the next floor. 2 doors awaited her. A chill ran through the air as a scene played out before her. 2 women dragged a man's body up the staircase, leaving a trail of blood on the otherwise pristine carpet. They pushed open one of the doors. The man's head hit the final step, but he made no move to stop them, nor cried out in pain. He was already long dead. The figures disappeared into the room. When Sophia blinked, the door was shut again. She trembled. The master bedroom. From behind that closed door, a voice called out to her, but the words were much too faint to make out. Domo tutu, welcome, yeah, bum yeah. How you doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. Her hand rested against the handle. Sophia couldn't stop it from shaking. With a careful motion, she pushed the door open. A musty smell came from further inside the dark room. Sophia, peering into the darkness, quickly took hold of one of the lit candles near the room and stepped inside. A portrait sat above a large canopied bed. The curtains were pulled back, hiding whatever was inside. In the portrait, Amelie sat beside a woman with a green dress and brown hair done up into a bun. Where did we hear that before? Standing beside them was a man with an imposing brow and a large beard. A family of mice ran from under the bed and out of the room. Sophia jumped to the side, narrowly avoiding them. Step, step, step. Each step brought her closer to that bed. Each step made her chest feel heavier, tighter. She stood before the bed and reached a trembling hand to the curtains that hid whatever lay inside. A wind blew from somewhere unseen, and her candle extinguished. Behind her, the door shut, and the room plunged into near-complete darkness. Amelie, is that you? I'm sorry I came in here after you asked me not to. I'll just go now, okay? Her body fell forward before she had a moment to react. She tumbled through the curtains and landed on something hard that rested on the bed. What? The curtains flew open, and the moon shone in from outside. The body she was expecting to find was absent. In its place, 2 skeletons, long ago decayed. They laid side by side, one smaller and one larger. But now, one was either side of her. Her scream pierced through the air, but no one came running. She desperately tried to squirm, to run, but it felt as if something was sitting on her, holding her down. As she struggled, she saw it. 2 dark red eyes hanging above her, watching. You won't take her away from me! I got the attack. She was just, she's mine. She's mine. Mine, 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 mine. Yeah, so... just a crazy guess here, but I think Lilica may have had something to do with Sophia's disappearance. That is terrifying, indeed. She did say, it's like, oh yeah, she joined your parents. So yeah, I stabbed her. So now there's 3 corpses in the bed. Alright, before I, no Yuri yet. Like, we'll get there, though. It's like, of course, Taffy has literally the worst timing ever. And decided to take a stinky poo. So, I'll be back in a second. I won't even bother with the BRB, I'll just make it really quick. I'm alive. Yeah, like I said, I had to clean the catch poo, but I'm back. Or deja vu. Alright. Pardon the interruption. Taffy likes to mess with me like that. Anyway. It's like, it's so weird. It's like, usually it's like, I would go to bed. I'm a lot of breath. I was running around. Like, normally I would go to bed, I'd turn the lights off, I'd go under covers, and then that's when he would take his stinky poo. So I'd have to get up, turn the lights on. But now he's doing it while I'm streaming, and I don't... It's like, what? And like, now he's doing it while I'm streaming. He does this because he's messing with me. Such a jerk. But anyway, back to the lesbians. Let's defy our fate. Are you here, Lilica? Silence followed. If I stay here, will I live to see tomorrow? More silence. She gulped. The flame by the side of her bed flickered wildly. Sophia laid back, shutting her eyes, but she felt as if someone was watching her, waiting and biding their time. Cold tendrils wrapped around her throat like a snake, cool like ice and getting tighter and tighter. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't even move. She opened her eyes, but no one was there. She wasted no more time. She jumped to her feet and quickly shoved them back into her shoes and headed for the door. It opened without any resistance. Outside the room, the hallway was dark, lit only by a handful of candles and sconces. Sophia swallowed, then stepped out. The house was silent. Sophia took careful steps, but the floorboards still squeaked loudly beneath her. During the day, she hadn't even noticed it, but now, wrapped in darkness, it seemed like those small sounds would wake whatever was sleeping inside the house. Amelie? Lilika? She whispered, but heard no response. Upon being met with only more silence, her footsteps sped up. Far in the distance, she heard something shift. A slight sound, one that wouldn't normally be noticed. But for Sophia, it was enough to make her heart race. She sped to the end of the hall and stood at the bottom of a grand staircase. Above her eyes, honed in on 2 doors in particular. The master bedroom, and the door to Amelie's room. Amelie. The choice was obvious. Sophia raced up the stairs and stood in front of the door to her pen pal's room. Yeah, so she didn't go into the parents' room this time. But as she went to knock, the door fell open. Amelie, are you in here? She received no reply. Sophia's head spun around. From somewhat deep in the dark, a gentle tune was being played skillfully. Her arms dropped to her side. The sound consumed her. Sophia drifted back out of Amelie's bedroom, chasing that dreamy song. Step, step, step. Through the darkness, all that mattered was that sound. Yeah, Doom Guy? Are you going to eat? Oh, Domo as Death God. Welcome, yeah. Yeah, I like me some Yuri. It's like, it's been a while. It's like, I like my yaoi, I like my Yuri. I'm pretty flexible. Alright, rest well, Doom Guy. Yeah, she came to the end of the hallway. A single door stood in her way. A bookcase was pushed to the side. You're gonna need the Mega Tuck? Oh, okay, I'll try.
Yoshi! There, how's that?
Without a second thought, she pulled it open. In the center of the room, surrounded by candles, Amelie sat. Her skirt fanned out around her. Yep, rest well, Doom Guy. Spread out over the floor were piles of letters. Upon closer inspection, each was filled with words that had been crossed out and signed with yours, Marianne. Or Marianne? Mary. Yeah, I'm gonna say Marianne. Yours, Marianne. Amelie. Amelie, are you awake? Her eyes were shut tight, yet her hands moved enough to play the sorrowful tune. Please listen to me, Amelie. Lilika is... She isn't... I'm not what? You're going to leave her, aren't you? Sophia heard the door shut behind her. She backed up quickly and tried the handle, but it was stuck. Amelie's eyes finally opened. In place of her usual golden eyes was the glare of deep red. Amelie, step out of it! Please step out of it! You want to take her away? Amelie, please! One by one, the candles blew out, and the two were plunged into darkness. Amelie's body slumped forward and crashed to the ground. It's nice to meet you, Sophia. I'm sure we're going to have a fun time living together. Since you will be staying with us after all, right? Alright. Ending 2, stay with us. Forever. I just want to see, though, before we move on. Can I, like, ignore it? Oh, I can continue clicking the text. What happens if I do that? Okay, it just moves on. Alright, but it looks like I can ignore it. Alright, that's just what I wanted to see. I'm gonna assume that if I don't click the 5 fate, that's the same as clicking accept fate, so... we'll go back to the main menu. I just wanted to check. Because I'm like, there was like 3 different endings for Lilika now. So I'm sure one of them's gonna be accept fate, and another one's gonna be defy fate, but I'm like, where's the third option? So, I guess we'll try and figure that out. Yeah, enjoy your birds. That seems like the other ending. Yeah, I don't know. The rain never seems to cease at this time of the year. It pours from the sky in its unending grief, as if longing for something unseen. It's like thunder roared in the distance, enough so to make the young woman flinch, but not enough to make her waver. I'm like, deja vu. I have read this dialogue before. Oh wait, this is new. The woman sat beside a man with an imposing brow and a large beard. The man wheezed and coughed, but kept hold of the newspaper in his hands. The front page read the following. The Great Plague of London. 7,000 deceased. The man frowned at the words. What was the plague?
How utterly preposterous! What on earth are the physicians doing?
The lady next to him coughed into her handkerchief. When she pulled it away from her mouth, it was stained red with blood.
I'm sure they're trying their best, my dear. Their best is going to kill everyone. Forget this rubbish. Amelie is still well, and finally of age to marry. We will arrange for a suitor before she becomes sick. If we send her out there, then she will certainly grow sick. She should stay here, locked in her room until it's safe to leave. No man will want a woman who has spent her only good years locked in her bedroom.
But she will be safe. The lady held her cheek, which quickly reddened after the impact. Bitch slapped. The Lord glared at her behind his bushy eyebrows.
You would do well to remember who she belongs to. Who you belong to.
The lady blinked, trying desperately to stop her eyes from welling up. Lilica, please come here. Her voice carried through the otherwise empty home. Time seemed to pause for a few moments before a woman with blonde hair cascading behind her entered the room. She wore the dress of a maidservant, and a neutral expression that wavered just so after seeing the mark left by the Lord's hands. She stepped forward, crossing the tiled floor with slow steps that seemed to match the pace of the thunder that roared outside. The lady nodded to the maid. The maid nodded back to the lady. The moon reflected from the metal object in the maid's hand as she swung it down into the Lord's throat. Whoa, that escalated quickly. My goodness. Stab. He let out a gargled scream. Blood spluttered out from his mouth, and he tried to speak, tried to yell, but it was too late. Yeah, I'll hydrate. It's just in time for the murder. It's like, of course he wasn't gonna live very long. He fell forward onto the floor, and the tiles darkened into a crimson red. He squirmed and crawled, searching for something that no one would ever know, before he fell still only a few minutes later. The lady stared at the scene. Her heart raced, and a laugh escaped her lips.
Finally! Finally! You'll never hurt Amelie. I hope you rot in hell.
The maid whipped the knife against a small... Wiped. The maid wiped. Why did I say whip? The maid wiped the knife against a small white hand towel. The stains would never be fully removed. My lady, I will deal with the body. I will help you. He is too much for you to carry alone. But my lady, you are sick, and I will get no better sitting here. The two grabbed him by an arm each and dragged him towards the stairwell, leaving a trail of blood in their wake. No other words passed from their lips as they executed their task. They reached the end of the hall and began the ascent to the first floor. The Lord's head hit against each step with a soft thunk. Something's hitting my head. Thunk, thunk, thunk. The house was silent in all other regards. The two doors sat next to each other. Both were shut tight. As the two women reached the top of the stairwell, the maid pushed open the door to the master bedroom and entered. The room was spacious and clean, with fresh bedding left by the maid just the same morning. On the wall above the bed, a newly painted family picture. The two struggled and finally lifted the man into the bed. His face was struck in a terrified expression, and his clothes were ruined. You will protect Amelie, right? I'll do anything you desire. Then let us begin. Lightning struck somewhere in the distance, lighting up the otherwise darkened room and showing many things that should have been left unseen. The maid removed his shoes and crawled into the sheets beside the corpse, while the lady dipped her fingers into the Lord's wound and drew a line of blood around the bed. Oh God, this is some crazy cult demon shit. Oh God. She spoke softly to no one in particular, chanting words that should never be chanted. When she was done, she stepped over the threshold and approached the maid. Never let anyone hurt her. Protect her no matter what. I will, my lady. Thank you, Lilica. You'll never truly understand how much your actions mean to me. The lady leant forward and let a soft kiss against the maid's lips. Ooh. Well, guess we know where Amelie got her, lady likes from. It was brief and gentle, and something the two had wished to share for longer than either would admit. As the lady pulled away, the maid drew her knife, still smudged with blood, and brought it to her veins. Goodbye, Lilica. Goodbye, my lady. Wowie. The maid bled out slowly, painfully slowly. The lady gasped for air and clawed at her neck. Everything in the manor became still. Everything apart from a young lady named Amelie, who sat in her bed upright, feeling a deep dread in the pit of her stomach, and another young lady named Lilica, who stood over two corpses lying beside each other in bed. The young lady named Lilica stared at the maiden in the bed. Her own face, her own blood, seeping through the bed. And yet here she stood. She looked at herself in the mirror and saw a different person entirely. She was no longer the maid. She was Lilica. Her voice was softer, her hair longer. It worked! When she turned back towards the bed, Lilica froze. Both of the bodies were gone, and in their places, two skeletons. How long has it been? She walked towards the door and found it locked. Taken through the tattered clothes of the long-dead maid, she retrieved the key and opened it. The door inside the master bedroom sat ajar just enough for Lilica to peer in. Amelie sat at the end of the bed, staring at herself in a small handheld mirror while brushing her hair. She hummed a quiet tune, but froze as her eyes met Lilica's. Who are you? I am Lilica. Lilica? But... Your mother told me that you had a maid named Lilica. What a coincidence! What are you doing here? How long has your mother been gone? My mother? I saw her... She frowned and clutched her head, as if she couldn't quite remember. I saw her... just this morning. I see. Your parents have left to be cured of the plague. They have asked me to stay here with you until they can return. Really? A cure truly exists? That's right. So until then, how about we be friends? Amelie's face lit up, and their eternal friendship began. Yeah, they made some freaky deal with the devil. So it seems like, if I'm understanding it, the maid was lovers with the mom, and then the maid killed herself to summon the demon who took on the maid's appearance but younger. That's my guess. I think that sounds correct. How many years had passed since that day? Neither could tell. Time seemed to stand still within that manor. Out in a field in the middle of nowhere. And that's the way Lilica wished it to stay. Lilica, a letter has arrived. What? Her blood ran cold as Amelie stared at the envelope in her hands. When was the last time we had a letter? How exciting! Perhaps it's Mother writing that she will return soon. Perhaps so. Oh. Ow. It seems to be addressed to someone else entirely. Perhaps it was brought here by mistake. Domo Wildbog, welcome. How you doing? And we had best send it back. Give it to me and I will have it returned. A peek wouldn't hurt, don't you think? Lilica watches the first crack formed in her fragile world. I will dispose of it immediately. Give it to me. But it was too late. The letter inside had already been let loose, and Amelie's eyes had already taken in the words left for someone else. Sophia! Lilica, I think I will write back. I will let her know that I received a letter by mistake. That isn't needed. Please? Just one letter. Thank you, Lilica. Just one. How many letters had arrived at their door since then? How many times had Amelie spoken excitedly about Sophia to her? Sophia. Sophia, Sophia, Sophia. Sophia, Sophia, banana, Sophia. It's always Sophia. Sophia's the crack in this fragile reality. Sophia. I have to get rid of Sophia. Lilica? Lilica's eyes opened with a jolt. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired. What'd you say? Sophia says she's coming to visit. Another crack formed from the last. It sprawled across reality, threatening to shatter at any moment. Uh-oh. Amelie, I don't think it's a good idea. The plague. She says it's safe enough to travel now in her letter. Perhaps Mother and Father will return soon too. Lilica forced a smile. But we don't need anyone else here. We have each other. Of course, you are my dear friend, Lilica. But Sophia and I have been writing to each other for... She shook her head, as if chasing off the beginnings of a headache. For a long time, anyway. I am excited to finally meet her. Won't you be excited with me too? We can all be friends. Right. Friends. I'm sure we'll all be the best of friends. Or not. For an amount of time that neither Lilica or Amelie could truly comprehend, the house was suddenly buzzing with life. Amelie's footsteps were light, and her days filled with excitement as she awaited the arrival of Sophia. And finally, to Lilica's dismay, the day came. Oh boy. The pendulum clock on the wall swung back and forth, ticking down the time. Lilica stared at it, wishing that it would slow down even further. 10 minutes, then 20, then an hour passed as the two stood by the door waiting for it to knock. She seems to be late. Perhaps she's not coming at all, Amelie. There is no need to make such a sullen face. Mayhaps this is for the best. ... She wrote that you would be here, so I shall wait. With her face hidden from Amelie, Lilica scowled. Do you truly believe that it's safe to have visitors during the outbreak? Lilica, I believe we have been isolated long enough, and Sophia has written that it is safe. I trust her word. She would not endanger us. And if your pen pal turns out to be a robber in disguise, what then? Amelie smiled, to Lilica's dismay. Domo Nixup, welcome. So basically, spooky ghost Victorian lesbians. Yeah, so, I think that's probably the best way I can describe it right now. She has a way with words that only a woman could have. Yeah, that's all you really need to know. Like, spooky, scary lesbians. Send shivers down your spine. A lady robber, then. Nonsense. By the way, Lilica, have you seen my letters? I can't say that I have. A knock sounded at the door, instantly halting their conversation. Amelie rose from her place and took a steady step forward before Lilica raised a hand to her. Allow me! To see if she should truly be allowed entry. The door groaned as it slowly swung open and revealed the young woman who knocked at the door. She was drenched from head to toe. Lilica stared at her. Light hair and eyes, she looked almost like a kitten. Instantly, Lilica's dislike for the woman grew. Lilica stepped to the side just in time for Sophia to bounce through the door and wrap her arms around Amelie. Her blood boiled. She watched all the clothes she had carefully handmade become drenched by someone unworthy, someone that didn't deserve to even look at Amelie. Amelie! Sophia! These arms wrapped around Sophia in return, and Lilica turned away. Ma, you're completely drenched. Did you forget your umbrella, perchance? Or perhaps her umbrella got carried away by the wind. Like, right. Different voices, different demons. Though we're back to treading on familiar ground. With a cool anger written over her features, Lilica shut the door. I didn't even think to bring an umbrella. Yeah, she said that before. Can't believe you're truly here. Me neither. You're just as brave as I knew you'd be. What are you wearing? Should have dressed up more. I'm overdressed. Lilica stood to the side, her arms crossed lightly over her chest. Her long hair reached down nearly to the wooden floor. Pardon my manners, my dear friend Lilica is here too. I believe I wrote about her in the past. I remember, I've kept all your letters safe. As you should. As you should. Amelie side-eyed Lilica upon hearing her tone, but Lilica simply looked away. Yeah, it's so weird because it's like, that's the thing that's like confusing, is that it's like when you hear the voice, they're saying it's coming from Amelie, when Lilica's the one that's saying it. So I'm like, so is it because she's speaking through her, or I'm not quite sure. Sorry, but is there any chance you have a towel? Yeah, it's like, I would have one, but it's only us. I'll fetch you a towel. Amelie disappeared down the hallway, leaving Lilica alone with Sophia. This really is a manor. When she told me about her house, I almost didn't believe it. Yeah, it's because Lilica's a spooky ghost with no body. Yeah, she basically took on the appearance of the maid, sort of. Yeah, she's probably possessing her. It's like, it probably took a younger form of the maid so they could be like the same age. And thus Amelie would, you know, befriend her and trust her and stuff. Has no one told you it is rude to poke around someone else's house? Sophia walked past Lilica without even a notion of responding. Hello? You can't even see me. Sophia walked towards the settee and reached for the newspaper. Don't let her touch it! Don't let her touch anything! She'll break it all. She'll undo everything. She wants to hurt Amelie. She can't find out the truth. The window shook loudly in the wind. With the flick of her small wrist, Lilica allowed the door to fly open, causing Sophia to whip around in surprise. It's so windy. Lilica locked in on the object that Sophia had been reaching for. She rushed forward and took hold of it. They quickly hid it behind a cabinet as Sophia reached to close the door. Phew! Amelie? Sophia spun around but looked straight through Lilica. Sophia? Oh, Amelie. Please use this. I'll bring an umbrella next time. Lilica watched as Sophia dried herself with the towel. Our towel. It's not for her. There can't be a next time. And then, if you're now dried off, would you care for a tour of the house before afternoon tea? That sounds great. Yeah, and then pantry, boiler. Sophia and Amelie walked side by side, close enough that their shoulders almost touched. Lilica stared at the place where they almost connected, seething with a quiet rage. It's like, Lilica is extremely on today. Yeah, there's the guest rooms. Yeah, it's like, your standards are higher than mine. Your house isn't similar, it's smaller. You own your own property. I bought it. I'm not married. Shut up! Father allowed you to buy property? Like, you funny. Your voice disgusts me. You speak quite casually. Yeah, it's like, makes me want to be more formal. What need is there of formality between friends? Yeah, it's like owning property. That's true too. Your words are poisoning Amelie. It's like making her think that she could be an independent woman with no husband. Heaven forbid. Yeah, dining room. It's like so many rooms. Yeah, it's like we're retreading familiar ground, so I'm like, we don't need to. Like lies. You're lying. Make me parch. Afternoon tea. Why don't you have a seat while Lilica and I prepare our food? Oh, I could come help. Nonsense, you are my guest. It would be remiss of me to allow you to lift a finger. If you insist, but I'm happy to help any time. Thank you. I will be back soon. Please rest. Amelie, yes? Nothing. Take your time. Sophia slipped through a doorway and disappeared. Amelie smiled widely while Lilica just stared ahead blankly. Isn't this lovely, Lilica? I have a new face in the house. It feels like forever. Yes, how lovely. I'm glad you're having fun at the very least. Are you not? Serve her fate. Ooh, that's a new one. All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's serve her and see what happens. Oh, I see. Are you jealous? Worry not, my dear friend. Of course our friendship means just as much to me. I value greatly. Just as much? Indeed. Come along, Lilica. Let us prepare tea. Amelie, I have something to say to you. You're my very best friend. Did you know that? I feel the same towards you, Lilica. And as such, I feel the need to be truthful with you. You appreciate the truth, don't you? Of course! I trust your judgment very much. Is something the matter?
I feel like this might be a quick trick question. Should I lie? Should I lie? Or hear me out. Maybe I should lie.
Your mother contacted me. She believes they will be able to return shortly. Oh, Lilica, this is wonderful news. Indeed, she was very excited for me to pass on our message to you, but...
Should we keep lying? Keep lying?
But I don't know.
This one, the keep lying, I don't know how to feel about that one. Maybe we should just... Instead of that one, we should just keep lying.
Well, she wasn't pleased to hear that you had someone visiting without her permission.
Oh, I thought she would be delighted that I had invited a friend. Your entire existence is a lie!
Of course, I pleaded with her that Sophia was a dear friend, but she wouldn't listen.
I see. Did she say when she would return?
No, but it seems to be soon.
Then I'll send Sophia away like normal tomorrow. I can't exactly force her into the storm, can I? ...
Why not?
Lilica.
Naturally, I am just teasing. Of course, it wouldn't be right to send her away at a time like this.
I'm glad to hear that we've come to an agreement. Now how pleased I am to know that Mother will return soon. Let's go prepare tea, shall we? Did you finish the baking yesterday?
The pasties are ready for serving.
Excellent. I'll just fetch the tea then.
Allow me. A lady of your standing shouldn't be doing such a menial task, should she?
Don't be absurd. Even Sophia herself seems to be fine in the kitchen. Did you hear how she jumped the hell? I should follow in her footsteps.
What would your parents think of that?
I appreciate the sentiment, but they took with them all the staff. I have little choice but to prepare my own tea.
I see. Then shall I attend to our guest? I wouldn't want her to become lonely.
Would you? I'll only be a few moments.
Of course. Anything for you, Amelie.
It will be a good chance for you to become friends, too.
I'm sure it will be.
Lilica's smile at that moment seemed to hide behind an intent much deeper than Amelie realized. The walls had eyes. Eyes that tracked Lilica's every move. They followed her as she made careful, deliberate steps towards the sitting room. They stared, their eyes bulging, judging. They had no mouths in which to scream, but Lilica could still hear their words. We all sacrificed ourselves for you. Hope, our only hope.
Amelie, protect Amelie. Prove your worth. Prove your love. Amelie, Amelie, Amelie! Under her feet, shattered glass pierced through her shoes, cutting her feet. She could feel the blood ooze out, pooling. It was warm, comforting. She looked up to find where the glass had come from. Then she noticed the cracks once again. Along every wall, every floorboard, even through the air. The world was fragmented. It was already broken. Not beyond repair. It's not. My lady, I will fix this still. You can rest. Please rest. I will take care of everything. Anything and everything. For you. She blinked. The world reverted to the way it should. The glass that lined the floor gone. The eyes that followed from the walls gone. And the cracks that had begun to wrap themselves around Lilica's ankles had disappeared too. She stood in front of the sitting room's door, which sat slightly ajar. Inside, Lilica could see Sophia staring out of the large window. Her back stayed turned as Lilica entered the room. Yeah, her mom hung herself to create a pocket. I think the mom dying, like, kind of screwed things up. The door shook past the dark, thick curtains. You who would attempt to defy your fate. Why don't we see how long this little game lasts? Why don't we test whose love is stronger? I swear, my love is unwavering. My infatuation, my yearning, my desire. You could never even wish to match it. Yeah, it might have also been part of the plan. Lilica pulled out a chair roughly, dragging its legs across the floor. Yeah, you dare to challenge me? You dare to test my love? Amelie, was that you? Amelie? Sophia took careful steps toward the chair, resting her hand against it. Or Lilica? Ah! 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 You're nothing. Sophia sat down in the chair that was offered to her, while Lilica circled around as if a cat after its prey. But her steps paused as she heard something strange. Footsteps from above. The master bedroom? In front of her very eyes, Lilica watched a scene unfold. A scene that made her blood run cold and her body freeze in place. My lady! The lady of the house stood beside Lilica. Where before the two had stood eye to eye, now the lady stood taller than Lilica by at least a head. My lady! My lady! What are you doing here? The lady removed her shoes and stepped onto the table. Did you come to punish me? Are you angry? I promise I will remove the plague that has entered our house. I swear it upon my undying love. The lady did not respond. Instead, she reached up and took hold of the noose. The rope wrapped around her neck, exactly where the necklace that the maid had gifted the lady should have rested. Join me. Her eyes locked onto Sophia's. Her hand was outstretched, waiting to be taken. Why won't you look at me, my lady? Are you truly so angry? Angry enough to despise me? Yeah, it is her when she was younger. But for a moment, as Sophia's outstretched hand came closer and closer, the lady's eyes slowly turned towards Lilica. They carried with it a message that only Lilica could decipher. Lilica's body shook. It trembled and trembled until she could hear it no more, and she ran from the room as fast as her legs could carry her. If the hallway had eyes, they weren't fast enough to follow Lilica. The floorboards, as if made of quicksand, threatened to suck her up and bury her deep within the house. Her feet felt heavy and leaden. Every step was as painful as that brief glance. She raced through the hall and up a flight of stairs, past the stained glass window, which left a myriad of colors over the carpeted steps, and past the doors that led to the master bedroom in Amelie's room. Closer, closer, until she arrived at a bookcase. She pushed it aside and entered a hidden room. The room behind the bookcase was small, and not a single window faced outwards, thus the room was near pitch black. Each wall was plastered with handwritten letters. Handwritten letters, clearly for Lilica alone. Her eyes, frantic, finally started to calm as she took in the words. Her words. Words left to her, for her, only for her. Lilica's eyes settled on a particular letter. To the left. Dear Lilica, how wonderful to hear that you're doing well. I've been very busy this week, but most of it is boring, so I won't bog you down with the details. But do you know what happened just yesterday? Of course you don't. You weren't there. I was walking home when I found an abandoned kitten. So left in the box on the side of the road. How could anyone do that? Anyway, I took her home. I named her Lily after you. It's a little embarrassing writing it out like that. Hope you don't mind. Yours, Marianne. Yeah, so I think Marianne's the mom. Yeah, it's like the maid and the mom were having an affair, and they were like, but we're gonna do like a lover's suicide kind of thing, but make it so that our daughter's protected forever. That's my guess. To the right! You're Lilica. I spent the past week studying. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but everyone needs a break, you know? On my desk, I have a little cactus in a pot. To be honest, a cactus wasn't my first choice, but I've killed every other plant I've ever owned. Anyway, it bloomed. There's one beautiful flower coming out of it. I couldn't be happier. So that makes studying easier. I think your environment makes a big difference. Why'd she write in her own name in Sophia's letter, though? I have no idea. Could be that she's just that fucking crazy. How about you? Do you have any plans? I'm looking forward to hearing about it next time. Yours, Marianne. Look ahead. Dear Lilica, today was tough. Tried my hardest, but I still failed. I think life's unfair sometimes. I was trying hard enough. I wish trying hard enough was all it took to succeed. Sorry, I'm whining, aren't I? I came out of my interview and it was raining. I just thought, just my luck, until something interesting happened. A rainbow in the distance peeked out from behind the gray clouds. It reminded me of you, and then I felt a little bitter. Hope we can meet soon. Yours, Marianne. She ripped the letter from the wall and clutched it to her chest, collapsing to her knees. She wouldn't hate me. She couldn't. She adores me like I adore her. She trusted her everything to me. Everything. Her everything. Amelie. The letter dropped from her fingers that were neither cold nor warm. You want me to get rid of that disease, don't you? You won't accept me until I protect Amelie. Is that right, my lady? I'll do anything. Anything you asked. So if that's all I have to do, then I will do it. I'll keep Amelie safe. Forever. Lilica stood from the ground and dusted off her skirt. Her face that had previously contorted in distress had finally calmed, and a smile gently crept onto her face. I love you, my lady. And for you, I will love Amelie too. I should light the sconces too. Where did I put those matches? Right here. Ah! You gave me a fright, Lilica. Where have you been? Preparing the guest room for your dear friend, of course. How kind. Sophia's just preparing for a bath present. I'm going to retrieve a towel for her from the linen closet. Amelie, I think it's best you send her home post-haste. What? Why would I do that? For all you know, she brings with her the plague. Sophia says it's now safe to travel. You say Mother is returning soon. It should be perfectly fine, don't you think? And what if she lies? Yeah, she says it's kind of good-natured person. I think she said this already. Yeah. She attends a local university, no husband. I could also study. Study? Study. She wants to leave? Leave the house? No, she can't leave. She can't go anywhere. She belongs here. Previous centuries make much more sense when you know that people were drunk 90% of the time. Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like they were drunk. The houses were painted with lead. The roofs were made with asbestos. The pipes had no filtration. The lady in the house should not study, Amelie. You must stay inside the house and wait your parents. But I'm sure Mother would want best for me. Perhaps while I wait her, I could expect the school. Amelie, must stay inside and wait your parents' return. But don't you trust me? Have I ever tried to lead you astray? No, Lilica. I was just thinking that perhaps it truly is beginning to be safe. Yeah, she points out the title. Plague runs rampant. Yeah, put in any notion of running or staying away. As soon as it's safe to do so, you'll be reunited with your family. Yeah. Yeah, for now, it's just you and me. Yeah, it's like, she said this like way back earlier. Yeah, thanks, Lilica. I'm glad you're here. As am I. Ah, the towel, let me go retrieve it. Go ahead. Alone, Lilica stared at the bathroom door, which was shut tight. Behind it, she could hear the water running. She could picture Sophia's body, slowly shedding its layer of clothes before she stepped into the hot water. That image was enough to force her hands. The running water sloshed into the steel-lined wooden tub. A state-of-the-art system. No one in the country owned anything like it. But how many years ago was that? How long had it been? Sophia leaned over the sink, her bone-white knuckles grasping either side of it. Her back was turned to Lilica. If she wanted, she could stab her in the back and be over with it. Like, yeah, just stab her. That'll fix things real quick. No, I need to keep Amelie's trust. She needs to leave or go somewhere she'll never be found, or do it herself. Sophia lifted her face in a mirror, then froze. Her eyes bore into it as if she was seeing something she shouldn't. Lilica stared back, unmoving. Leave. Leave already. Who? One step at a time, maintaining close eye contact. Through the mirror, Lilica crept closer and closer until the two were nearly touching. Why do you want to take Amelie away? Can't you see that she loves me? Me, not you! Your words are poisoning this household. If you don't leave, I'll kill you. I'll have no choice. I'll just kill you. Who are you? Sophia whipped around, but her eyes didn't focus on any spot in particular. To her, Lilica was gone. Yeah, Lilica walked towards an open cabinet and pulled something out. Yeah, sever her fate. Like, we'll see what severing them fates be. The metal of the razor glinted. Lilica raised it up and she moved to stand over the bath. With ease, the metal cut into her arm. Drops of blood fell into the water, leaving tiny splashes where they connected. Blood still runs in my veins, after all. Sophia rushed past Lilica, desperate to turn off the overflowing water before she froze once again. So that was Lilica's blood in the water. Weird. The water was a deep, dark red. Her slender fingers dipped into the liquid as if she were entranced. One layer at a time, she stripped bare, her expression hollow and lifeless. Lilica watched as her naked body stepped into the crimson water. Why not just end it here? You're scared, aren't you? Just sink down. Accept your fate. Accept it. Whoa, we're actually getting a CG. It's like, whoa! You could hear me now, can't you? Why not just end it? You're scared. Yeah, I was like, oh, wow. But it's okay, it was brief. We're okay. You're so terrified. You just came here to see your friend, and look at what's happened to you. Amelie. Yes, Amelie. Amelie, where did you go? Where are you? Amelie, I want to see you. Shut up! You don't deserve to speak her name. You don't deserve to be in her presence. Why don't you just give up? Just sink deep into the abyss. Isn't it inviting? Sink. Right, I should. Isn't the water so warm and inviting? That's right. Just sink down into it. Then you'll finally be able to rest. Amelie. You. A knock came from the door. Lilica's widened eyes went from the door to the young woman in the bath and back again. Excuse me, I'm coming in. Lilica ducked behind the folding screen just in time to hear the door open. Yeah, she brought her a towel. She's like, ah! See you naked. She didn't wait any longer. As Amelie stepped into the room to set up down the towel, Lilica quickly dashed down to the hall. Where Lilica had a chance to even catch her breath, the bathroom door opened once again, and Amelie stepped out with flushed cheeks. Did you tell her that she must depart? No, why? Is something the matter? Are you feeling unwell? Your face is bright red. Sophia will stay until she decides to leave. No, she must leave now, tonight, no longer. As you wish. I'm sorry, Lilica, but I believe it's only fair after she traveled so far and she is my friend. That woman, that siren, look what she does to our Amelie. I'll I will finish preparing the guest room. Let me come help. Yeah, she said that before. You know, sighed. Sophia's voice came in turn. Okay, thanks. That's the same. The guest bedroom was freshly cleaned, with new linen on the bed and a lit lantern beside it. Fortunately, Lily had prepared the room well in advance. You did a fine job of preparing the room so far. Thank you, Lilica. Anything for you. Yeah, and then she was like, let's go to the greenhouse. Now, by now, a dozen cracks stemmed from a dozen other cracks, filling the entirety of Lilica's world. At any moment, even a breeze would make everything collapse. Didn't we speak of this? You cannot leave the house. And then she's like, no, let's go to the greenhouse. And he's like, what's gone into you? Because of your friend? Alright, rest well, Bucky. Thanks for stopping by. Sit in the sun. Sit by the window. To the window. Is it really that unsafe? Yes. Done with the bath. I'll look across her arms over her chest, anger already rising in her chest. Were you talking about the greenhouse? Yes, did you see it when you arrived? I did, but look, the plants had died. And she's like, no, that's impossible. Well, we could replant tomorrow. Sounds wonderful. She's like, I've not heard a word I said. It's unsafe to do so. He's like, oh. And he's like, it's fine. I'm getting late now. I'll leave you two to retire. Good night. Voice had dripped through her voice as Lilica left the guest room behind. Yeah, so that all played out the same. The house had a heart, and that heart was beating to the same rhythm as Lilica's. It was frenzied, on the verge of losing control. It echoed through her head, through the hall, through to every corner of the building. Like Morse code, it was as if the house itself was telling her to do something. Get rid of her. Cut out the disease. Protect Amelie. She bit her thumb, pacing back and forth. Amelie will be upset. But Amelie doesn't need anyone else. She has me. She won't be upset for long. And she'll forget. That's right. She'll forget. Her breath hitched in her throat. What do I do? What do I do? She just won't die. My lady, what am I supposed to do? At that moment, Lilica put her ear to Amelie's door, listening intently. How about coming away with me for a while? Away? Outside of the house? What about the sickness? Away? Outside of the house? Yeah, it's like, you'll be okay. Come to my house. Don't have to do an arranged marriage. Lilica's hands balled into fists at her side. You would do that for me? Actually... You think you can take her away from me? Lilica's balled fist slammed against the door. Each one sent a pain shooting up her arm all the way to her shoulder. Inside, the voices went quiet. Up. There's only one dialogue option. But there's also 3 different endings, so that's why I'm like, probably if we don't sever her fate, like, at all, we'll probably get the other ending, but let's destroy her fate for now. See what happens. She doesn't belong to you. Lilica? Finally, Lilica snapped out of her daze. At some point, Amelie had left the guest room and was standing a short distance away from her, looking worried. Instantly, she took a deep breath and composed herself. But her heart still beat as loud as a drum, and the cracks that seemed to be centered around Amelie were still spreading at an increasing rate. It is late. You should retire to your bedroom. Yes, I shall. It's nice having someone around, isn't it? I feel as if the manor is coming back to life. I hope we see mother and father soon. I'm sure we will. Shall I see you to bed? Yes, please. The hallway was darkened, with only a few sconces and candles lit along the way. And Lilica relished in it. On a long night like this, long ago in the past, she had sealed her fate along with Amelie's. And tonight she would seal the fate of yet another person. The two rose up from the grand staircase side by side. Moonlight drifted in through the stained glass window. This seemed to be the only place free from those cracks. If she squinted, she could almost see it, almost hear it. That head hitting each step with a loud thunk. Those eyes would never open again to look upon a woman with scorn. That hand would never be raised to leave a mark on pristine skin. That sound filled her with joy, and the thought of repeating that fateful night left her footsteps light with excitement. It's like, I sure do love murder. Lilica, may I ask you a question? Certainly. Have you ever heard of a woman loving another woman as a woman would love a man? Oof. Where did you hear about such a thing? Nowhere in particular. It was just a thought that came into my mind. Yeah, as I get some rest. Good night. They talked about this before. Lilica was seated on the edge of Amelie's bed, still with unsteady feet. Standing in the doorway, she looked back at Amelie. Good night, Amelie. Sleep well. Tomorrow, everything will be better. Lilica stepped out of the bedroom, shutting the door softly behind her. The hall was still dark, with only a few candles to light her descent. It was quiet. Everything was asleep. The eyes that followed Lilica wherever she went were closed. The voice that crept up from between the floorboards were silent. Somehow that only made Lilica more uncomfortable. But that didn't matter. Not now. She knew where she was going and what she must do. She edged closer and closer to that door, the door that held behind it a sickness named Sophia. It was closed tight. Lilica raised her hand, almost as if to knock, but instead pushed it open and entered. Just as the hallway was dark, so was the guest bedroom. No sound came from the bed. All was still. Lilica crept closer, closer and closer, until she stood over the bed, like a shadow. The woman underneath her kept her eyes shut tight. Her face was calm and serene. Lilica couldn't help but smile as her hands wrapped around her fragile, pale neck. Her nails dug into Sophia's flesh, so soft and easily bruised. And she didn't even shift. For some reason, that made Lilica even more furious. But as the young woman named Sophia laid as still as a statue, her mind wandered back to another that had once done the same in this very house. A young woman who had left Amelie in Lilica's care, who had only wanted the best for her daughter, had only wanted for her to be happy. The problem is she'll leave. That's the problem, isn't it, my lady? The cold fingers slowly unwound from Sophia's throat. That she'll leave and take Amelie away. But if she stays, then won't Amelie be happy? She'll be happy. She'll be so happy, always, forever. And then, maybe you can... Lilica withdrew from the room in a rush, her feet carrying her faster than they ever had before. Through the hall, up the stairs, and and into Amelie's room once again. The bed was warm and inviting. Lilica enveloped herself in that heat, wrapping her arms around Amelie tightly. Soph... Who'd you think it was? Lilica? Do you want Sophia to stay here forever? What? She will leave if we don't do anything about it. She'll leave and you'll never hear from her again. That's not true, Lilica. She wouldn't just do that. My dear Amelie, I spoke to her just a moment ago. She was already packing up her bags. At that, Amelie rubbed her eyes and sat up. It can't be true. Go check for yourself. Amelie, not wasting even a single moment, walked towards her door and peered down. From here, the moon was shining in through the stained glass just right, illuminating the hallway below. In the distance, a shadow could be seen moving. Lilica smiled. See? Lilica picked up a toy doll that sat on Amelie's bed, a relic from the past. Its straw-colored hair almost seemed to stand on end. Don't you want to keep her here? Don't you want her to be like this doll? Keep her here? Right. Your own special doll who will never leave you. Don't worry, I'll make it happen, just for you. I'll make sure you're happy forever. Just go down the hall, to my room behind the bookcase. Wait for me. Amelie's eyes had glazed over as if she wasn't truly there. She stood from the bed and picked up a small black case that rested on her nightstand before leaving the room. It wasn't long afterwards that Lilica followed in her footsteps, just in time to see Sophia ascending the staircase. She walked straight past Lilica, who was smiling happily, and approached Amelie's door. Like, yep, we're gonna see what happens. Yeah, stuff it like a teddy bear. As she knocked, the door fell open with a groan. Amelie, are you in there? Amelie's waiting for you. From somewhere hidden in the darkness, a fragile melody filled the air. Almost instantly, Sophia turned toward the sounds and began to follow. Lilica sped up enough to walk beside her. Isn't this great? You like Amelie, don't you? Don't you want to make her happy? She would be ecstatic for you to stay forever. So why don't we help her? To be happy forever. She offered no answer. They entered the room together. In the center of the room, surrounded by candles, Amelie sat. Her skirt fanned out around her. Spread out over the floor were piles of letters. Upon closer inspection, each one was filled with words that had been crossed out and signed with yours, Marianne. Yeah, this part's the same as her, Defy Fate ending. Amelie, are you awake? Her eyes were shut tight, yet her hands moved enough to play the sorrowful tune. Please listen to me, Amelie. She isn't... I'm not what? You're going to leave her, aren't you? Lilica shut the door, dragging a heavy lock across. In response, Sophia rushed backwards and tried the handle to no avail. Amelie's eyes finally opened, and in place of her usual golden eyes was a glare of deep red. Amelie, snap out of it. Please snap out of it. You want to take her away? Amelie, please. One at a time, Lilica blew out the candles on the floor. The room was plunged in the darkness. Amelie fell forward, her body exhausted. It's nice to meet you, Sophia. I'm sure we're gonna have a fun time living together. Since you will be staying with us after all, right? Lilica, could you pass the sugar? Of course, Amelie. With a smile, Lilica pushed the sugar across the table towards Amelie. She picked up the teaspoon and dropped a single cube of sugar into her tea. Would you like one, Lilica? No, thank you. Just being around you makes my tea sweet enough. And you, Sophia? You're awfully quiet today. I'll just give you one. Next to Amelie sat Sophia, perfect and pristine. To Amelie's eyes, at least. But Lilica saw the truth. Her flesh convulsed and pulsated, and her eyes bulged from what was once her head. The shape of Sophia was gone. In its place was a mound of a person who used to be. Lilica smiled. You know she likes sugar in her tea. There's no need to ask. You are right. I'm so happy. Sophia, Lilica, you are both so important to me. Thank you for being by my side. Anytime! Isn't that right, Sophia? From now on, it's just the three of us. Yeah, it's like one big happy family. Alright, so we gotta figure out her other two endings. So I'm assuming if I just ignore the severing fate, it'll just keep going. Woo! We don't need to read the letters. We did that already. Like, just keep skipping, just keep skipping. Alright, yep, see? Now we have two different dialogue options. I knew it. It's like, before it was like destroy her fate or something. Now it's like we have two different options. We'll start with allow. She doesn't belong to you. As her hand rested against the door, a sudden pang went through Lilica's cold heart. She's important to you, isn't she? Of course, her words have always been something that have brightened my day. Even if she were to leave? Leave? Well, I believe she'll leave eventually, Lilica. There's little choice, really. All I could do is hope she'll visit again. I see. Good night, Amelie. Sleep well. Whatever Amelie said in reply was lost in the darkness as Lilica stepped out of the bedroom. As she left the room, she noticed it. A dark shadow stalking through the night, slowly creeping through the hall. Lilica frowned. My lady, you must forgive me. I've rarely seen Amelie so happy. But she cannot stay. No, she must leave immediately, and I will make her. She stood on the grand staircase, outlined in the moon's glow. Sophia, you can't see me, can't hear me, but you can sense me, can you not? The shadow paused, her eyes going up the staircase. There, she saw a shadow warp strangely across the carpeted steps. You will leave this place immediately, and you will never come back. Lilica? The blonde girl pushed a vase from a step, and it crashed to the ground below, smashing into tiny pieces. Sophia jumped in response, a shiver running down her spine. I won't warn you again. Leave. Slowly and unsteadily, Sophia crept up the stairs until her face was almost close enough to touch Lilica's. Is that you, Lilica? In a small motion, Lilica dropped something from her sleeve. It clattered to the ground at Sophia's feet. She gripped her shirt even more tightly. This is your last chance. I don't care whether you live or die. This is only a favor to Amelie. As if her nerves had finally got the best of her, Sophia turned on the spot and ran. Back down the staircase and into the dark hall. Lilica followed behind her, slamming doors and knocking things down to the ground. Sophia, too scared to even turn around, ran as fast as her legs would take her until she reached the front door. Instead of being locked and closed up tightly, it sat open, as if waiting for her to leave. She didn't waste even a single second more, and she was gone. She's gone! Gone! I did it! Amelie, I did it! You did what? Did you?
This isn't what it looks like, Amelie. Please listen to me.
Did you force her to leave?
No,
I'm going after her. Lilica jumped in front of the door, arms spread wide.
You can't.
Why?
It isn't safe to do so. You belong here, with me, together.
I've had enough of this and that I've had enough of this and that being unsafe. Lilica, either you move to the side or any friendship I thought we had is gone. Lilica wavered. Her arms, which had held such conviction, began to droop. I have always done what's best for you, have I not? All of this time, have I not remained at your side? Please trust me. I only did what I had to. So this is what you've decided. Don't come near me again. Amelie turned her back on the blonde-haired woman, who dropped her knees as she watched her leave.
Amelie!
Good night, Lilica. Iguchi made her man. Darkness filled every inch of her brain. A voice screamed out from inside of her, mocking her.
This isn't right. My lady, this isn't right. Didn't I do the right thing? I let her go. I did her a favor, but Amelie's upset.
Her lady offered her no answer.
Is this punishment for not doing as you wished?
Sophia should have died.
She should have died. She'd have died. Died. But now she's alive and Amelie's angry.
In that dark room alone, Lilica clutched onto something. Something she kept in the closet, away from any prying eyes. She held it tighter. Its green dress fell apart at her touch.
Can't you make this all better again? Can't we make her forget?
Her forehead fell down and rested against the other person's shoulder. They remained silent, as they had been for many long years.
I'm sorry. I'll make it better. We can make her forget, can't we? Can't we start again? Just like before. We can start again.
Lilica stood, placed the skeleton of her lady carefully back in the closet. Like, why are you putting the lesbian back in the closet?
Keep waiting for me. I promise I'll make everything right again. Let's start again, Amelie. You and me. Forever.
Yeah, beat me to the closet, Joe. I was like... Lilica walked into the room, holding a tray carefully in her hands. On it sat a teapot and 2 cups.
Amelie, I brought the tea.
Excellent. It smells delicious. Amelie smiled brightly, filling Lilica with happiness in return. Lilica, may I ask you something?
Of course.
I found this letter by the front door. Do you know where it came from? Amelie held out an envelope. The front was blank. How strange. Perhaps it was delivered here by accident? Lilica took it from her and opened it. At the bottom, it was signed, Yours always, Sophia.
Yes, it seems to be for someone else. I'll mail it back, yes?
Thank you, Lilica. I appreciate it. Finished with her tea, Amelie stood first and left the room. Lilica smiled. From under the table, she pulled out a stack of envelopes that seemed to match the one Amelie had given to her. And all at once, she threw them into the fireplace.
Goodbye, Sophia.
All right. Now, lastly, deny her fate.
Good night, Amelie. Tomorrow everything will be better, so sleep well.
Lilica sealed her resolve and stepped out of the bedroom. She first went back to the guest room and put her ear to the door. No sounds could be heard from behind it. Then she noticed something. Someone else walking down the hallway unsteadily. It's like, probably the closest we'll get to a happy ending. Probably, we'll find out. Lilica followed closely behind. Through the darkness, the other person was only a shadow, their features obscured and hidden. The sound of her light steps on the old wooden floorboards mixed in with the rain that was still raging just outside those walls. Come on, Throat, we're almost there. The kitchen was by the stairwell. That's right, by the stairwell. But you aren't going to the kitchen, are you? Hand-painted portraits were lined up in rows on either side of the hall. Seems like as if their eyes moved to follow Lilica's every move. Sophia stared up at the grand staircase. She seemed as if she were entranced with each and every step. They're waiting for you. Those two people, they're calling for you. Go on, go to them. Sophia's unsteady hand reached it for the banister. Her ascent was slow and careful, her eyes fixed on that door, that special door. That room where the maid had met her end and her most hated person rested beside her. That room where she had made a promise to the person she loved. Lilica needed only to reach into the kitchen to procure the item that was waiting for her. So it's that one Sophia ending, but from her perspective. So yeah, I think the allow her fate thing is like the happy ending. But we'll see. I've been waiting for her all this time since Sophia had arrived. A knife with dark, age stains over the blatant hilt. Long had it sat there, festering, waiting. Yeah, I figured that. Desperate for more. More blood. Like a hunter stalking her prey, Lilica followed behind Sophia, the knife gripped tightly in her hands. The two stood side by side, staring at the door to the master bedroom. It was shut tight, and had been for countless years. Sophia trembled. With a smile, Lilica reached over to give her arm a squeeze. Go on. You want to know the truth, don't you? You can hear their voices. I'll allow you this much. With a careful motion, Sophia pushed the door open. All at once, countless memories came flooding back. Of love, hope, of the future, and of death. Sophia disappeared into the dark room, the only light being a candle she carried in her hand. A family of mice ran out from the room and down the stairs. The taste of freedom was oh so sweet for them. More quiet than the mice had escaped, Lilica followed Sophia into the room. Wax dripped from the burning candle onto the wooden floor. She trembled as she reached a shaky hand to the bed. And at the same moment, Lilica swung the door closed behind them and the room plunged into darkness. But that darkness didn't matter to Lilica. Not to she, who knew this room like the back of her hand. Amelie, is that you? Amelie isn't here to save you. Sophia's eyes searched for the room to no avail. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came in here after you asked me not to. I'll just go now, okay? The pale-haired woman fell back onto the bed before she had a moment to react. The yellow bones of the lord of the manor and the maid rattled underneath her. Flesh long deteriorated. Lilica smiled. How long has it been since I saw myself truly? What? Looks like we're finally meeting, Sophia. With a leg on either side of her, Lilica held Sophia down on the bed, still smiling. She tried to squirm, to escape, to run free. Her eyes were filled with terror. You won't take her away from me. Sophia's scream became a muffled cry before finally extinguishing fully. Ha! Ha! Finally! My lady, did you see? Are you watching? I've saved her. I've saved Amelie. Only when Lilica tried to stand did she notice it. An aged bone poking out from her stomach. A dark liquid dripped out from around it. With a slight frown, Lilica pulled it free. Ugh! It's okay. It'll be okay. Lilica closed her eyes. I'm just a little tired. I'll just sleep for a bit. Her eyes grew heavy. So heavy. So heavy that the only option would be to sleep at this very moment. How could you do that? Lilica, why? Why? Why would you hurt Amelie like that? Why did you kill Amelie? Ah! Her eyes opened with a start, her heart racing faster than it had ever raced before. The room seemed to be spinning and her head throbbing. Then she saw it. Lying on the bed between the two skeletons was the body of a young woman. A young woman with long brown hair. Her dress was stained red.
Amelie. No, that's not. Who did this? Who? Sophia! Amelie, wake up! Wait!
She blinked, and the young woman below her disappeared. In her place, Sophia appeared. The room was still dark. Not even a drop of sunlight peeked through the covered windows.
What a cruel trick of the eyes.
She stepped out from the master bedroom just as Amelie did the same right next door. Good morning, Lilica. I was just on my way to see if Sophia has awakened yet.
Amelie.
Sophia disappeared during the night. I believe she went the same place your parents went.
What?
That cannot be right. Yeah, they dismiss so much. They're in denial.
Don't run, Amelie!
Amelie dashed down the hall and knocked quickly on the door to the guest room, which fell open with no resistance. Inside the bedding was a shovel and her luggage was strewn about. Yeah, and this is the same as last time, just from her perspective. It's like, okay, so Amelie's ending is the ending where she kills Sophia, which is what I figured. Yeah, it's like, it was a bad idea for someone to visit. This isn't fair. They're there. Lilica wrapped her thin arms around the young woman, gently patting her on the back. Yeah, it's like, I'm here, I won't ever leave you. Amelie clutched at her back, tears already falling from her eyes.
We'll be together forever.
Oh, Jesus. Amelie froze in Lilica's arms before pulling back completely. What? What happened to your face?
My face?
Lilica's hands went to her face instantly.
Is something wrong?
Amelie's expression had darkened. Her mouth firmly shut firmly in a line.
My face!
Pulling up a small mirror from her pocket, Lilica finally saw it. A black void of nothingness where her face should have been. She turned and ran, down the hall and up the stairs before Lilica could even call out to her. The void seemed to seep out from her very skin, oozing, leaking out from the wound in her stomach.
That disease-ridden hag. Amelie, wait, it's okay, everything will be...
Lilica's hand that reached out towards Amelie fell at her side. At the top of the staircase, in this manner, in the middle of a field, far out in the countryside, Amelie stood in an open doorway. A doorway that hadn't been opened to her in more years than she could truly imagine. And inside, she witnessed a sight she never should have. Her eyes, hollow in her body, petrified. Sophia...
Amelie, this isn't...
Stay away from me! Her long, brown hair cascaded out around her as Amelie rushed into her bedroom, slamming the door behind her. Lilica rushed up the staircase, banging her fists against the locked door.
Amelie, this is all a misunderstanding. She wanted to hurt you. I've saved you.
She fell to her knees, her fists still pounding on the wooden door. A muffled sob came from within, then silence. The void surrounded Lilica, flowing from her wound and wrapping itself around her body. She curled into a ball. The sound of a chair hitting the ground inside the bedroom was the last sound Lilica heard before her eyes closed and she became one with the void. Alright. Is this really okay? What about the future? Should you try again? Yes. Alright, so I think this is now the true ending now that we saw all those other endings. The room was dark. Amelie had long gone to bed, leaving Sophia alone in her room. She ducked her head under the cover and pulled out her phone, still dead. Sophia clutched it to her chest. What do I do? What exactly is going on here? Sophia's body stiffened up. Her back was to the door. But her mind screamed not to turn around. Footsteps crept closer. Closer and closer until... Stay away from me! Ah! Sophia threw her bedding at the approaching person and jumped to her feet, ready to run. Yeah, hopefully this answers everything. I think we're on the true ending now. Since we did everything else. Yeah, Sophia threw her bedding at the approaching person and jumped to her feet, ready to run. But the person she saw collapse to the ground was not the person she was expecting. Oh my gosh, Amelie, I'm so sorry. Sophia knelt down, quickly helping the brown girl to her feet. It's quite alright. I didn't mean to scare you, I apologize. No, it's my fault. I'm too jumpy. I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. Sophia's arms draped over Amelie's shoulders, and she pulled her in tight. Amelie froze for just a moment before she melted into her embrace. I'm here. But is everything alright?
No, I don't think everything is alright.
What could be the matter? Amelie, my phone died as soon as my cab approached your house. Do you see? She pulled out her phone, showing her the black screen. What exactly is that? My mobile. Amelie picked it up curiously, turning it in her hands. You've never seen a phone? What is it used for? For texting, making calls, playing games, those kind of things? Amazing! Amelie? What year is it? What year? Why do you ask? Please. 1665, of course. Alright, so we were way off. Nah, it's like I had a feeling when they were talking about the plague, they were talking about the bubonic plague. But, you know. It's like we were confused about the car, but then she was talking about a ride. So she probably thought she came here on a horse-drawn carriage. Yeah, we were way off, but it's okay. Sophia took a step back from Amelie. What is it? Amelie, this makes no sense. Lilica, this house, you. Amelie. It's 2021. What? Sophia, that's preposterous. Oh my god. She fell back onto the bed, her legs not able to hold her up any longer. Oh my god, Amelie, you're not joking. You're really... Are you feeling unwell? Maybe you need to get some rest after all. Amelie, please listen to me. Out there, the world has changed. We have phones, cars, computers. We don't need a husband. We don't need permission to buy a house. You go to school, get a job, do whatever you want. I know I probably sound crazy to you right now, but please, I'm telling you the truth. You're trying to tell me nearly 400 years have passed, and I've been stuck here? How would that even be possible? I don't know. Amelie, how long have you been writing to each other? Well, I don't know. It's been 5 years. I need to find Lilica. She'll know what's going on here. No, wait. You can't ask Lilica. Why not? I can't see Lilica, Amelie. I haven't seen her once. But she's been here from the start. I've only seen you in this house. Amelie, something is going on within this house that has kept you stuck in here, and I think she is the one that has done it to you. That can't be true. Then why don't we find out together? How? The master bedroom. Lilica was the one who said you couldn't enter, wasn't she? Please. Sophia reached out her hand carefully. Amelie stared at it, unsure before deciding to take it. I don't understand what's going on, but I trust you. Let's go. Yeah, solve this heckin' dang mystery. Together. Holding hands. Hi, Kitty. What's up? The hallway was still dark, with no sign of Lilica anywhere. If she appears, then tell me, okay? Okay. Hand in hand, the two walked quickly through the hall and up the staircase. What, do you want to play, Kitty? There they stood in front of the master bedroom side by side. Their hands were sweaty. No matter what's in there, I'll be by your side, okay? Amelie offered no words, instead just squeezing Sophia's hand gently. And at that, Sophia pushed the door open. Just like the rest of the house, the room was dark and quiet. Only the moon shining in from the dirty window guided the two in. It smelled musty, as if they were in a tomb only just uncovered, not a bedroom. They crept closer and closer to the bed. It was surrounded completely by the canopy, keeping whatever was inside hidden. With a shaky hand, Sophia reached towards the light velvet. At once, the truth came into view. Amelie gasped and almost fell to her knees, but Sophia's hand kept her steady. I'm sorry, Amelie. But they left
They left only a few weeks ago.
It looks like they've been gone for a very long time. Amelie, I know this is hard to believe. I find it just as hard to believe as you do. Please, we have to leave this house, now, before Lilica finds us. She knew. I think that you've been bound to this house by her. We need to find a way to leave. Okay. The two only got halfway down the stairs when Amelie grounded to a halt. Sophia turned to look at her, her eyes wide in surprise, only to see that Amelie's expression was one of immense fear. Lilica!
What are you two doing out of bed?
Lilica,
So you went in there?
She nodded upstairs. You lied to me!
Only to keep you happy.
Happiness with lies as their foundation isn't true happiness.
And why not? We've been perfectly happy here for longer than you've even existed. And you came along and... I'm sorry, Amelie. I'm so sorry. What?
Lilica burst into tears, wiping her eyes with a sleeve in a desperate attempt to stop them from overflowing. Lilica! Wait, Amelie, don't. Amelie took a step towards Lilica as if to comfort her.
Please don't leave, Amelie. Can't we stay here together?
Amelie, she's lying to you. She wants to keep you trapped here, please. But...
Please.
Amelie! Sophia pulled on Amelie's arm, forcing her to turn to face her. Amelie's eyes were filled with confusion. I know you two have been together for a long time. I know I can't compete with that, but I want to give you the life you deserve. You deserve to be free, to live, to experience everything you've missed out on. Not to be stuck in time here forever. And the truth is I... Say it. Yeah, let's fucking go! Whatever words were coming next were lost before they were even spoken as Sophia leant forward and placed a gentle kiss against Amelie's lips. He's like, yeah, shocker. The cries from below extinguished in an instant as Lilica watched on in horror. But just for a moment, the rest of the world melted away, and all that existed were the two of them. How scandalous. Amelie and Sophia. Amelie closed her eyes. The sensation was new and foreign, yet not unwanted. The butterflies were let loose in both of their stomachs. Where they connected, heat spread throughout their bodies, and then Sophia pulled away. The truth is, Amelie, I have liked you for a very long time. And even if you don't like me back, I want to help you. I want to help you live again.
Amelie, don't listen to her.
Oh, okay. A decisive smile came to Sophia's lips. She had no time to dwell on a sudden kiss, nor her confession that would usually make her feel so nervous she'd been sick. All she had time for was to escape. Her eyes went down the hill, where an enraged Lilica stood in their path. The doors were bolted down, unable to be opened. There was nowhere at all to escape, except... Do you trust me? I do. Sophia didn't need any more of a confirmation. With Amelie in hand, she turned, ran, and jumped. Let's go! The glass shattered as the two girls hit it hard. They fell, surrounded by the shards, until they hit the ground below. Yeah, get her out of that house! The moon shone from high above, shielded away by the storm that never seemed to end. Amelie, are you okay? Yes, I think so. Sophia rushed to Amelie's side, quickly helping her to sit up. Yeah, it's a good way to hurt. Yeah. Get caught by the glass. Side by side, they looked up at the remains of the stained glass window. Lilica stood, completely still. I can see her. I'm sorry, Lilica, but... Lilica just shook her head. She grasped at her throat with her hands, and her lips moved, but no sound came out. Giving up, she looked back at Amelie, holding eye contact. Her expression wasn't angry anymore. It was just sad. What, Kitty? What's up? Yeah, they bled on the lawn together. The end. She lifted her hand and waved, a slow and small motion before she crumbled to dust on the wind. It stopped. Lilica. Seemed it wasn't you bound to this house by her, but the other way around. What am I meant to do now? Amelie, you're free. You can do whatever you wish. Sophia, exhausted, once again wrapped her arms around Amelie, who returned to gesture almost immediately. There they embraced under the now free moon. In this manner, in the middle of a field, far out in the countryside, a curse was broken. A young woman freed. You have no identification. Yeah, it's like you have no birth certificate, no ID, no social security. What her future held was uncertain. After all, the future never is. But she made her decision on that fateful night. To trust in the future. To trust in herself. No matter what. Yippee! Well, we got it. Well, she's British. Sophia doesn't have social security either. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, overall, that was a nice little mystery. My only beef is, it got pretty repetitive. Like, I get that they wanted you to see all three of their POVs, but that caused a lot of overlap. So it's like, literally like, I want to say like at least a quarter of the text was just repeated over and over again. And I'm probably being generous. But hey, they got to live happily ever after. And funny enough, it's like, yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, that's what I'm wondering is, normally in these types of stories, it would be like, Amelie would be like, okay, I'm dead, I'm gonna move on to the afterlife now. But it seems like in this one, they're like, nah, she could stay alive. We'll say it was a satanic voodoo that was keeping her immortal. The house was trapping her in time. It was a time capsule. Amelie, I'm back from my class. Sophia, quick, come here. Is something the matter? No, look! Amelie held up a phone screen next up to Sophia, who just laughed in response. You got a 5-star character in that game you like? Isn't it amazing? All I had to do was insert the numbers on that card you gave me. The future truly is astounding. We'll talk about it later. It's like, no, giving the Victorian girl a gacha game and a credit card. Oh, God. Sophia's gonna regret her life choices. Oh, what's this? I'm not sure. It was slipped under the door while you were out. A plain white envelope sat on the coffee table. Nothing on it identified who sent it or who it was addressed to. A little concerned, Sophia opened it and pulled out a letter. But the words may as well have been a different language as she could not read them. Her eyes went straight to the name at the bottom of the page. Yours, Lilica. The end! But yeah, no, I think what happened was, it's like basically, the mom and the maid were in lesbians with each other. But, you know, society standards, so the mom was married to this asshole, and they were like, you know what, let's just do like a satanic ritual where we both die and have it so that Amelie's happy forever. It also, the mom could have also killed herself because, you know, because Lilica sacrificed herself for the ritual. So that's also could have been why she's like, oh, it's like my husband and my lover are dead. I have no other reason to live. So that could have been also why. There's a bunch of reasons why she could have done it. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's up to interpretation. Why did mom want her to escape when Sophia came? Well, she just wanted the best for her daughter. I think she just wanted her daughter to be, you know, happy and safe. And she probably knew that her daughter was gay too. And that there was no way that her husband was going to approve of her daughter being a lesbian. So she's like, all right, if I can't be happy with my lover, we'll team up and try and figure something out. But, you know, satanic rituals, their monkey paw wish, it went horribly wrong in that, yeah, we want her to be happy forever. So we're going to trap her here forever with, you know, satanic magic. So when Sophia appeared, it was like, oh, hey, this is her opportunity to be happy and let her leave. But, you know, the magic had been pretty twisted over time, so, you know. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not important. It's really not important. I would say don't worry about Surveillance Bird. It's not worth staying up at night thinking about. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, so how does the mom die if the dad's dead? And they're like, let's have her hang herself. I think it's just as that straightforward. Like, it's not that deep. It's not supposed to be anything important. Alright, well, thank you all so much for coming. Let me go find somebody to raid. Yeah, we can go with this person. But yeah, no, overall it was a good game. It's like I enjoyed it. There we go. Alright, good night everyone. Rest well, eat your vegetables, and stay away from that lesbian satanic magic. It's not worth it. Good night.